HipHop and wrestling.
Here we go. Let's talk about Backlash. We're gonna start with the main event. And first of all, Gold, I was almost 100% accurate with what my prediction was. And technically, what I predicted did happen. The shenanigans in terms of Cena hitting him with the belt while the ref was down. It just so happens that there was a low blow involved in it as well. And two refs, if I recall. But that was my prediction. I said he's not winning clean, not on Randy Orton in St. Louis. Just ain't happening. Yeah. And Randy Orton had to RKO 5 people in a row, which was fantastic. I loved it. But overall, Cena came out on top, which I don't think we were surprised by that outcome. I don't see Cena dropping the belt anytime soon. But I believe I think they announced recently that his last match will be either November or December at the TD Garden in Boston. Now, will he hold it all the way till then? Will the title be held hostage for an entire rest of the year? I don't know. But we can talk about that, in a second. First things first, what was your thoughts on the match itself? And we'll start with Gold, and then we're gonna get to Madison. But keep that. You can't keep the fingers in the air. Gold. We got to keep that up. What were your thoughts on the match?
I agree too. Like I knew it was gonna be some kind of shenanigans, and I'm glad that they kind of switched it up, and so it wouldn't be too predictable. Like I said, I didn't like how if people win with a fucking low blow every match. I thought that shit would be whack. So they switched it up. Congratulations. It was a good match, and setting it up for what's happening next. And I'm sure we'll talk about that too.
Yeah. Madison.
With the parties involved, you know what I'm saying? And how the ending happened. Yeah. So I'm just glad they switched it up and it wasn't too goddamn predictable.
Right. Madison, what did you think about the match itself?
Match was okay. I think it was definitely a sweet joint to add to the Orton and Cena legacy, if that's the last one. Definitely, a interesting way to go out with their legacy. But they've had plenty of joints anyway, so nothing too crazy. To me, it was just a lot of dramatics that really carried the match. A lot of storytelling, especially towards the at the end. Cena, his confliction. Just again going into the heel turn, of course, R-Truth. So to me it was more like a carrying out a story to a degree. But yeah, the match wasn't wasn't bad or anything to me. It was kind of a typical WWE main event, just a lot of dramatics. But yeah, I'm not mad at it though.
Yeah, the match definitely picked up towards the end once the kickouts, the near falls started. As typical, right? You get RKO'd, you get the attitude adjustment. We got the tables, and we got the ref bumps. Now we got the geeks coming out and all getting RKO'd and whatnot. So yeah, a lot of dramatics, some very high level, high impact shenanigans. But the crowd was eating it up. The crowd made the match way better than it really was. And shout out to just the St. Louis crowd overall. They did a good job of miking the crowd, so the energy was there. The match wasn't too long, it wasn't too short, and I think this match was definitely better than the Cody match. Although it had shenanigans, but I think it was better. I think it was worked better because these two know each other better. Than the Cody match.
I mean, they knew they had to step it up after that match, man. They knew, man, that Cody match was kind of we just got to find a way to pass this belt to John, So I think they stepped back and was like, you know what, let's take our time with this shit, man. Let's really plan this out and make it look good. And like I said, they switched it up. It wasn't predictable, like how the belt wasn't going to change hands, and they surprised us, and I was like, good, bravo.
What if, let's go into the multiverse, the what if world. What if Randy Orton would have won and set the St. Louis crowd on fire? I would have been pretty happy with that.
Yeah, me too. I wouldn't have been mad at that at all. Randy holding the belt for a little while, man. We love Randy, bro. Randy is Randy is to the WWE what Jerry West was to the NBA logo. If WWE had like a person logo, it would be Randy Orton, bro.
Doing what? Doing an RKO or doing his hand shit?
Yes. Randy Orton is just, he looks great, man. Like, he's charismatic, bro. Like, he knows how to be a bad guy and a good guy. Like, Randy Orton is kind of like the prototype of what a fucking dope wrestler should be. My personal opinion.
Yeah, Randy Orton now, you know, he got the formula. He ain't got to do too much. Yes. He doesn't have to. He doesn't do a lot. But when he fires up, it works every time. The comeback works every time. So I give him that. But there was a time period back in the day. I was calling him.
It was like, I can't see it. It was like, man, this guy sucks. Like,
it wasn't that he sucked. He was just boring. He was Randy Borton.
They did. That was a light name.
Mm-hmm. Randy Borton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like winning with the top rope skydive and shit.
No.
That's your move. That's your move. Crossbody, the top rope crossbody.
No, when he started becoming the Viper, when he slowly started becoming the Viper. You know, back.
So what you think changed it when he got an Evolution? That's kind of like sparked him up.
No, this is after Evolution. After Evolution, he was just this young punk kid who beat Chris Benoit at SummerSlam and took the belt. And he had a promising potential. And then when just tried to celebrate his victory, and Triple H did the thumbs down, and Batista dropped him. Then he went on that that quest to beat Triple H and whatnot. It's just by the time we got to like WrestleMania 25, when it was him and Triple H in the main event, that was the main event that I didn't want to see so bad that I sold my ticket.
Damn.
And I regret that, because you know what other match happened at WrestleMania 25? Undertaker, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
But I was so turned off by the whole build up, Triple H pulling up at his crib, all that shit they did, it just didn't work. That was the beginning of the Randy Orton era. And I just wasn't feeling it when he was feuding with Jeff Hardy, when he was feuding when Chris Jericho came back, when he started Legacy with Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase. I think it was just later when he started to become more of an OG, and he became a face, and he was feuding with Alberto Del Rio and things like that. We started to see that fire where the fans was really behind him. But even with Matt Riddle, he was still, kind of like, Matt Riddle brought more personality out of him when they were teaming together.
I agree. Yeah.
But I mean, fundamentally, in terms of like working, wrestling, upper echelon talent.
Yeah.
He's crisp.
And I'm just talking about his look too, man.
Great. His look has always been good. He's tall, right? He's athletic. He's smooth. He's crisp. He knows how to bump. He knows how to sell. He has a great punch. Like he has the it. It's just WWE likes their heels to be slow and methodical, which I find to be boring in 2025.
Yeah.
Especially if Randy wanted to go quick, he can. That's why if you get Randy in a multi-man match, like I call him a party match, he's gonna show out. That's when he'll do 5 RKOs. That's when he'll RKO somebody jumping off the top of the cage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he'll catch him out of nowhere. It's just like,
Randy Orton can work, he can work slow and methodical, or if you put him in there as someone who's quick and fast, like a Rey Mysterio, he can keep up with him.
Yes, yeah, he can.
So he knows how to control his gears, and I give him that. I give him that. So he did. He showed. I think he carried this match with John Cena.
He did, for sure.
He carried it. What was the match he had with Gunther recently, where he took like 5 minutes to move the steel steps over to the damn announce table? I was like, that type of shit. Like, come on, bro.
Come on now.
Come on. But yeah, I thought it was entertaining. Now, granted, I didn't watch SmackDown leading up to this, so I didn't know what the fuck R-Truth was doing. But if y'all recall, when we spoke after the Royal Rumble, after Elimination Chamber, I said John Cena going to fucking beat R-Truth ass.
And I agree with you too. I said the same thing. I said he's gonna do something crazy, bro. Like he has to do something crazy to R-Truth because R-Truth was his biggest fan, and that's gonna make him look more like a heel.
Put him through a damn table at the press conference. Ain't that a bitch?
At a press conference.
At a press conference. Great. That was like that table break was all soft and gentle.
It was. And he's like, oh.
John Cena was like, I love the way John Cena sold it though. He was just like, no more questions, and just walked off. I was like, all right, Hill John Cena. I'm still rocking with you.
You think they're gonna do that match? I saw something. It might have been like some bullshit, but it was like it's gonna be R-Truth versus John Cena at main event, at the night main event.
I don't know if that's officially going to happen, but if it did, I'm totally down for it.
Yeah, me too.
I'm totally down for it. Because R-Truth to get that hope spot in, get his shit in, hit him with the scissor kick, and get that 1-2 near fall, and then he will proceed to be destroyed.
Look, and I said the same thing you said, but not in the exact way. And because somebody was like trying to talk shit, I was like, man, this ain't gonna happen. I was like, but it'll just be a good look for Truth.
People love R-Truth.
Good heat for Cena.
That's who you beat up. You beat up R-Truth.
Yeah, your number one fan who looks up to you.
And if not, I mean, mind you, they already got physical. But if not a physical match, they got to do a rap battle.
That would be so good.
Rap battle.
That would be too good. Bro.
Let me give you the break room applause for that one. Hold on, there it is. That's the break room surprise birthday party applause.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, you shouldn't have. They had like the Sam's Club cupcakes.
Yo, Sam's Club sheet cake would be good as hell, boy. Get you diabetes, but that should be good than a motherfucker, boy.
Man, go get diabetes, though.
You totally gonna get diabetes from a Sam's Club sheet cake. All right, so Randy Orton's out. The loss didn't hurt him, of course, because he's Randy Orton, and he showed out, and he looked strong by doing all the RKOs to all the geeks, including Nick Aldis, which I don't know. He's been RKOing Nick Aldis quite a bit, and I don't know if Nick Aldis is unmedically cleared to wrestle or not.
Gotta be.
Right, because you would think he would have done it by now because he's still in shape. Clearly, you can see it.
Yeah, and he's been taking a lot of like bumps. Just now, I don't know if those are the bumps that he's allowed to take, but I'm like, yo, you're taking a lot of bumps from somebody who's not, medically cleared.
It's like, are you heading towards a match?
Yeah, that's what I'm like. Hey, I wouldn't mind that at all.
I wouldn't mind that at all. I think it would actually be good. Nick Aldis is actually a good talent. When he first debuted in TNA as Magnus, I was like, I don't see it.
Yeah, what was it was Magnus.
Magnus and your boy from Britain who did the Zero. What's the name of the fucking Chaos Theory? Is it called Chaos Theory? No. The rolling suplex that Chad Gable does. The rolling German suplex. That was your boy Scott Williams, not Pete Williams.
Not Pete.
It was. He had a regular ass name.
It was regular, but it was like a
This is the TNA wrestler?
It was his TNA tag team partner. TNA. I think it was called Chaos.
They added the big guy.
Doug Williams. So he was the originator of the Chaos Theory rolling German suplex. Yep. And so it's called the Chaos Theory. Nick Aldis was his tag team partner as Magnus, and then there was the third dude. The third big dude who I can't... Yo, your boy, he was like ridiculously jacked. Ridiculously jacked. Hold on.
They were trying to push him.
Magnus. What was their name? Magnus.
It was a singular name.
They were called the British Invasion.
The British Invasion. He was Brutus Magnus, Doug Williams, and Rob Terry. Rob Terry,
jacked out of his damn mind in terms like bigger than Batista big. Yeah, that dude was humongous. They tried to push him as a solo star later on, but I guess it didn't really take off. TNA had a lot of like dudes who didn't really take off, like him, Matt Morgan, a whole bunch of like big dudes. Then Tom Cole.
And they had a few stuff because I still was like, yo, Okada was there. I'm like, there's no way.
Well, we didn't know, that wasn't Okada. That was
right. But it's just still like, damn. And for him, I always trip off of that one in particular because I'm like, obviously, what happened. He went on to have illustrious career, but it's like, just what? Like, he was that character, and then he evolved. That's just dope. But
I think it was Okada. He was under Samoa Joe, right? He was trying to be the Green Hornet.
Yep, like a Green Hornet as a character.
But that's what they did back then. They would send their young lions from the New Japan Dojo to America to figure out what their gimmick's going to be, and then they would come back.
I like that though. It's dope. Nice excursion.
I love that system because I don't know if you know this, Gold, but in New Japan Pro Wrestling, they got what is called the young lions. These are the people who are trained in the dojo, and when they first get out of training, they can only wear black tights, black boots. They can't do any signature moves. They can only do like fundamental holds like Boston Crabs and things like that. Then they send them on an excursion to Mexico, to the US, things like that, to develop their characters. Then they come back and then they can beat a larger than life overall gimmick. And most of these people are very well rounded and solid and really good when they get back. They're farming.
That's pretty fucking fire.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. Yeah. It's very dope. Yeah. It's very dope.
Yeah. It's called development, man.
Exactly. Exactly. So how did we get there? Oh, okay. So Nick Aldis, right? So Nick Aldis, I started paying attention to him really when he became the NWA champion, and I was
had that run.
Yeah, and I was talking to Gold last week or the week before about we was looking at belts because I was thinking about what's the next belt I'm going to buy, and I was telling him I kind of like that. I didn't like it at first, but I kind of like it now. That TNA 10 pounds of gold belt.
10 pounds of gold, the NWA.
The one that Ric Flair got off of Holly Race. And the one that Nick Aldis was holding, I was like, okay, that looks good because you hold it, you hold it with prestige.
Right.
You got to have a suit when you wear that belt, when you have that belt.
You do. And I'm not going to lie, all this for me because, growing up as a WCW fan, I do recall it from the NWA days, but I'm like, it just didn't pop to me like, the big gold belt or even the international heavyweight. The WCW heavyweight title, WWF title. It just didn't pop to me until like I saw how Aldis was carrying it. I seen the whole spiel, the prestige, this, that, and the third, trying to bring the legacy back, and it just kind of hit me. I guess it being more modernized and me seeing it in real time. I was like, damn, this shit look dope. You know what I mean? It's different, but it's got, like you said, a layer of prestige to it that it's like, you have to conduct yourself in a certain way to hold this.
Right. Even when TNA first launched and they had that belt, and I was like,
right.
It wasn't popping for me. It didn't stand out compared to what we had already in the atmosphere. But now I'm looking at it like, okay, as a throwback, this belt's kind of fire.
It's kind of fire.
So similar to how the current IC title had to grow on me. I didn't like it until Braun Breaker got it. And I think maybe because they polished it up a little bit.
Right.
And then Jay got it and they added like some blue, like the blue for the negative space that was there. It didn't look like a fucking copper key to Indiana Jones anymore. It looked like a title.
That's when it won me over, like that when they added that blue to it. I was like, all right, that's just cool now. Like I didn't like the fucking world titles, the tag team titles when it was like silver. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Oh, just copper shits. I hate those shits.
Yeah, that shit was whack.
Yeah,
I not the biggest fan. Cool, but just wasn't really the biggest fan of those. But yeah,
I like the original ones that they had, that the New Age Outlaws had, and that were around for the 80s, early 90s.
It ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. The Raw titles look like eggs, and the SmackDown titles look like slices of bread.
Yeah.
Do they not? Am I lying?
No, you're not, man. They were trash, yo.
Stop me when I'm telling lies.
Trash. They was trash.
Yeah, I'm not fucking with
them. Oh, God.
I like the, we'll have to have a discussion about belts, but if I was to buy tag titles.
My favorite is still the Intercontinental yellow belt. That's still my favorite.
I like the white.
Razor Ramon.
I like the one with the white strap.
Yeah.
The one that Cody brought back when he was undashing.
Yeah.
I like that one. It's clean.
That's your
Very clean
It
title.
was.
It's a perfect version. I like that. But all right. So,
Actually, the yellow one was Ultimate Warrior, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Ultimate Warrior.
So all right. So yeah, John Cena, Randy Orton. I don't, whatever's next for Randy Orton, who knows? But Cena is still the last real champion, as he said, as he grabbed the mic when the show was over, just to bid them adieu. I like it. I just hope that his stick changes a little bit. No more shitting on the fans. Now just shit on all of your peers. That's what I want to see.
Wrestling.
Who's going to come and really threaten you? Because you are John Cena. Hustle, loyalty, and respect. And if he does get a match for R-Truth, I would love to see it, because R-Truth is just such a lovable guy. I'm going to accredit R-Truth for helping the Judgment Day get over even more.
Absolutely.
Yes, for sure. Hell yeah.
100%. So shout out R-Truth.
Yeah, I love R-Truth, man.
Yeah, Ron the Truth Killings. He's also a NWA champion.
He is 3-time.
Yeah, so shout out to Ron the Truth Killings. All right, let's go to the Fatal 4-Way. Set it off with a 4-way match. Again, a party style match. Everybody's all over the place. And when we did our prediction show, we were saying who's going through a table. We were saying who's taking the pin and who's going through a table. And you had said that Drew McIntyre was going to be incapacitated. And that's exactly what happened when he took that big ass South of Heaven bump. Which actually, and by the way, the South of Heaven choke slam is like one of my favorite choke slams.
I like it too. Yes. I like it, man. He put his own spin on it, man.
I like that.
Hell yeah.
I like that move a lot. I don't fuck with him when he does the old school armbar, top rope, body press, because he's too tall to do that shit.
Yeah.
He should just do the jump with the arm to the back, or to do something different. Do a drop kick or a Hurricane Rana or some shit. I don't fucking know. But
yeah, a clothesline or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Just something, right? Because But yeah. So him and Damian Priest through the tables. Drew McIntyre looked like he fucking bumped his head pretty hard on that bump. When you look at the replay, I was like, damn, like just like the table breaks your fall, right? But sometimes you just can't prepare for the whiplash effect. And
no, you can't.
And it just looked like his head bounced back hard, or he was just selling the fuck out of it. They are professionals, right? But both of those men were incapacitated. But just speaking of those two men specifically, all it told me was that a last man standing match is coming.
Yep. I agree.
It has to happen. And I also think that, and we talked about it last week too, I think Drew's slowly but surely getting ready to turn face. But back in the ring, Jacob Fatu is just fucking awesome. This man looks like he looks tired, but he's not tired. At any given time, he'll just all gas, no brakes, do a suicide dive, run back in the ring, hit you with a moonsault, a swanton, whatever. This dude is crazy. He is special. And of course he won, but not without shenanigans. And we were not expecting Jeff Cobb to show up. But now, this story's got a little bit more interesting. But before we get into the outcome and the aftermath and the fallout, Gold, what did you think of the match?
I enjoyed the match, man. Like I said, I knew it was gonna be like Drew and fucking Damian was gonna have some shit. Like they're gonna get their beef off, whatever. They're gonna have some extra shit going on. I knew that was gonna happen, man. I knew Jacob was gonna win. I didn't know how, but I don't know. Did I predict shenanigans?
You did. You didn't. Well, technically, in a 4-way, there's no DQ, so there's really no shenanigans.
Don't matter if it's shenanigans or not, but yeah.
But we had a run-in. We had some outside interference, so we can probably consider that shenanigans. Yeah, we consider that shenanigans.
Yeah. Definitely was cool about like the outcome and like them introducing a new character who I didn't know of or whatever. Like I said, I had to do my research and shit. I'm like, okay, so now this story is gonna get thicker, and it's building more towards my prediction of Jacob versus Solo Sikoa. You know what I'm saying? Because Jacob kind of looked up like, like, why the fuck did you do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I had this under control. Had no right to come bother my match. I can do this myself or whatever. And, when he's walking out of the ring and just kept looking at him like, nigga, like, I'm ashamed of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, how dare you disrespect me like that? So, very interested to see how this story plays out, man. I did enjoy the match. Fully, it was.
Yeah, the match was
Great
excellent.
match.
Excellent.
Yes.
Madison Jay, your thoughts on the Fatal 4-Way?
Pretty much same sentiments. I thought it was definitely a very dope 4-way. It took into the tradition, Backlash kind of being the rubber event with WrestleMania, carrying a lot of WrestleMania feuds. So they just took 2 WrestleMania feuds, fused them together for a title match, which when done correctly, you get something like this right here.
Yeah.
All 4 performers definitely did their one too. Kept going, obviously storyline wise with Damian and Drew to extend their feud. LA Knight, I think, will probably be going into a different direction. Obviously, because with the U.S. title being with Jacob, the development and seeing Jeff Cobb, who I was super shocked because I ain't gonna lie, he got me because I saw online he was just like, yo, when things first broke off, I think with him in New Japan, I think it was just a little quick with the reports, but he was basically like, yeah, I thought y'all said I was leaving, this, that, and the third, whoop. I'm like, okay, well, he's still here, he's still working. Then I saw, I think it was here in Tanahashi, they had a moment in the ring. He was crying. So I'm like, okay, he might be leaving. And then I'm hearing reports of he's retiring. He's going to retire. So I'm like, oh, shit, Jeff might be retiring. He's probably got like an injury or something. I didn't think that he was going to WWE because obviously the reports of I saw earlier a few weeks back, maybe even a month of them doing early reports. So I'm like, man, he ain't going, man. He probably seriously retiring. So to see him pop up was shocking. I was thinking about this and I had to put it out there, but is the Bloodline, is it more compelling stories that can come out of this, or is it running NWO territory where it's like, all right, it's bleeding dry?
I say bleeding dry.
Yeah, we're definitely getting to like Stevie Ray NWO status. To where the black,
I'm over it, man.
We got the black and white, Vincent and Stevie Ray and fucking Scott Norton and Horace Hogan and shit. And I'm not saying these talents are.
They're on the caliber of the. Okay.
No, these talents are way better than them. It's just that in terms of the Bloodline's legacy, all the OGs are doing other things, not necessarily together. And I just feel as if there's no more Bloodline.
No.
However, there can still be alliances. There can still be factions. But there's no. Tama's out. Tongaloa's out. It's just Jacob and Solo, who are blood for real. And then Jeff Cobb, there's no relation. He's not even in that family tree. He's pretty much like Bronson Reed, And what are they going to do when Bronson Reed comes back? Bronson Reed, last match was in a Bloodline feud. Now, the idea of a Jeff Cobb and a Bronson Reed as a fucking tag team sounds amazing to me, because Jeff Cobb is like a new natural disaster type of clique right there. Two strong motherfuckers, right? That sounds dope. I don't know who Jeff Cobb's sacrificial lamb is going to be on Friday or next Friday, but he's going to whoop somebody's ass, toss him around, throw him around, tour the islands, 1, 2, 3 to look dangerous. But his interaction with Jacob, I don't know. So storyline-wise, I'm intrigued. CC, I am intrigued. Bloodline legacy, I'm cool for them to put that to bed for a little bit. Right? Just for a little bit, because Roman's busy. Jey Uso's the champ. Roman still ain't acknowledged him yet, but Jey Uso's the champ. Jimmy's Jimmying.
Get your ass out of here, Jack Perry!
And Sami is, doing his thing against, Seth and Braun at the moment, right? And Paul is not even aligned with the Bloodline no more. So I think the Bloodline itself is dead, and possibly it was exhausted. Maybe they just exhausted it and there was nothing else they could really do. Maybe Survivor Series was the ultimate blow-off.
Yeah.
Like
ended there,
It ended when Roman got the Ula Fala back.
Right.
So Netflix, the Netflix debut is when the Bloodline pretty much ended.
I will agree. I think probably because I still see life. I think with the NWO, it's just the caliber of people. Also the people who were running that, figuratively and literally, who were running that. To me, that's what separates the Bloodline. The attention to detail and the how things are woven, how it's been scripted out. I still feel there's a little bit of life there. I just think they shouldn't, mind you, just with the fact of the acknowledgement. Roman acknowledging AJ, you did it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But also at the same time, I get it. They don't really want to tap into it. It's just more, like you said, allegiances, alliances, being affiliated. What's crazy to me is that I think with God being down, I think that hurt. It hurt it. It's crazy. Tonga Loa, him getting his internet claim, how people are, really kind of hold him up to this level. And the fact that it's all kind of crumbled to me since he left or since he got injured. Because I think it was just the dynamic shifted so much. Then Tama going down, that shifted. So it's like it takes out some of the firepower of the punch of what the Bloodline story is.
Yeah, it killed it.
Yeah, but I'm just because the level of talent that's within these storylines, I still want to see what they can create. Because if it can be dope and just something I could be hooked in and entertained by, I'm all for it. Just like I said, Jeff Cobb popping up was just a super shot. Like, so I'm interested to see, are y'all really gonna push the button and have him and Jacob Fatu go at each other like that? That's gonna be crazy. Sola and Jacob, it's gonna be crazy. God, when they get back, where does their allegiance go? So I mean, you still got a little bit of life just with these, sub characters now. Again, the big dogs, they're busy doing other things, but I guess maybe this is pretty much how the Bloodline saga has been, a vessel to help out talent. Because essentially you got 3 to 4 characters that have really come out of this and been able to sustain themselves in their own planets outside of the Bloodline, or on top of the Bloodline or outside. Roman, Sami, Jay, I guess you could say Jimmy. I was gonna say Solo, just off the leadership role of him being a leader and being in like high profile matches, Survivor Series, Saturday Night Main Event, more as a leader. But anyway, I think for the most part, Jacob, what he's about to do the next couple of months is he's going to kind of get this face run going. And they're going to get the button pushed on that. But I think a matter of, do they go Bloodline or do they go just straight new Raw opponents? Because as we approach the Saudi Arabia season, and then also leading up to SummerSlam, they're going to start planning and showing like, okay, these are going to be the certain matchups you need to be looking forward to. So seeing where Jacob goes after this U.S. title defense, especially in a 4-way, interested to see.
Yeah, SummerSlam is 2 nights, so maybe the Solo Jacob match might happen there.
Get out of my fucking head. I was just about to say that. I think it's going to happen at SummerSlam, man.
I can see it.
But it's inevitable. Hell, listen, I still have faith that Solo going to have a face run at someday. Maybe just a wrestling fan of me, but I really want to see him and his brothers and their father do the electric slide together. Maybe that call me corny, but I've seen it with
at all.
That's not corny, man. That'd be fucking historic.
I think I feel like it would mean the world to them to have that moment, because I know Solo, Fatu, the Fatu family, they got soul, And I know that I'm pretty sure that Solo Sikoa can pop like his ass off. We just ain't seen it yet. Just like his father and his brothers can. And also, Solo has so much personality that he's keeping contained. It is staying.
Absolutely.
It is in a bottle right now, and that jar just need the lid to come off, and he can be. He works that slow, methodical style, but I'm pretty sure he can go. He can shift gears if he needs to. Actually, all those damn Samoans work that slow, methodical style when you think about it. But they turn it up at the end for the near falls. Jeff Cobb, happy to see him there. I think he needs to rub from a Solo because he's foreign, no pun intended, foreign to the WWE fan, just like God was, right? They couldn't. Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa couldn't just come in like, hey, here we are.
Right.
They'd be on some Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson type shit, and they would get lost in the sauce. So having that rub is very helpful. I think this bloodline, like I mentioned, is NWO Black and White post split. OG bloodline is in the NWO Wolfpack. That's the cool bloodline. And then maybe in the future, it'll all come back together for whatever, some common cause or a common threat. Who knows? But Jeff Cobb is, he's in his early 40s. While he still can work, get that money. Hopefully you can get a WrestleMania paycheck next year. Come and impress. Again, throw whoever you're going to throw him around. But I would prefer for him to just destroy a local geek, not someone who needs to be on the come up. But on SmackDown, I'm trying to don't come in like Miz gets beat up by everybody. But it doesn't have to be Jeff Cobb. I'm trying to think who on SmackDown could be that sacrificial lamb and not get hurt. I don't want to see Carmelo get beat by Jeff.
Absolutely not.
I want to see him get his build up, man. Carmelo definitely been working, and he's fire. I like Carmelo.
But Jeff Cobb got to destroy somebody this week or next.
Maybe Andrade.
No. A competitive match, yes. But that 3-minute squash.
Oh, but the sacrificial lamb. Okay, all right, I'll take that back.
That 3-minute.
I'm trying to think of somebody on SmackDown. Why can't I get one?
That 3-minute squash.
That's when that's when you get the jobbers.
That's when you get the geek. Matter of fact, have them beat 2 of them. Mm-hmm. That's how you get over a monster. You have them beat 2 geeks. Once upon a time, and granted, I'm so happy that Xavier Woods bounced back from this, but him and R-Truth both got beat by Rusev back in the day. When Rusev first debuted, that whole monster got to beat 2 people got things. That's when they had no faith in Xavier Woods. But that's before he became New Day Xavier Woods. But,
okay.
You know what I'm saying? But he was teaming with R-Truth at the time, and Rusev beat both of their ass. Hopefully they've learned from that. That's some Vince shit, but exciting time. Jacob is he's white hot right now. Keep it going. But see, the thing about Jacob is the face turn. I'm with it, right? I'm with it.
Me too.
But I still want to see him be that threat to the rest of his family.
He'll be a motherfucking monster, bro. He came in as that, and it worked, and people still cheering for him even when he was the bad guy. So I don't think it don't matter what he does. I think they just, like I said, they needed something to make him match up with Sikoa, or to set up a match with him and Solo Sikoa. So it's like, all right, let's just cause some friction within the bloodline,
right?
And not agree with Solo Sikoa calling the shots, but him not fucking with the shots he called. So they just needed something to do that, man, and build that matchup.
So what do you think? So both of you agree that LA Knight's probably going to move on to something else?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think he's going to get? Maybe in the Cena mix?
I could see it. Is he going to win? No. But I could see him get another shot at Cena. Then maybe SummerSlam. It might be LA Knight versus Cena.
I'm afraid that if a Cena LA Knight, just based off of how Cena tried to deflate Cody, he might do that same shit to fucking LA Knight and inadvertently bury him.
I know, and that's what sucks about it, man. I feel bad for LA Knight, man. It's kind of like he's dope. I like LA Knight, but it's just kind of like they keep saying, you know what, you're gonna be the guy. Oh, well, hold on, we got to do this first. You know what, you're gonna be the guy, but hold on, we got to do this first. It's kind of like they keep saying, they keep putting him in a position to be the man, but then they always have another idea. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like they keep pushing it back, and I just feel bad for him. Same thing with Drew McIntyre, I think, is going on.
Yeah, LA Knight's a really talented dude.
Yeah.
I'm luckily he hasn't had a serious injury to put him on the shelf. He's an older guy, you know, and
yeah.
I want him to get it. I give him his flowers, man. He's doing his thing, but
yeah, he's fine.
But yeah, I want him getting lost in the sauce. But a Cena program, you know, if Cena's going to go all the way to December, let's see some new matchups we haven't seen before. I think we have an opportunity to really elevate some other talent. Speaking of talent, let's go to Gunther and Pat McAfee. Now, what did I say was going to happen? I told you there's going to be a sloppy power bomb and we're going to sleep. It's time for night-night.
And I told you, I said, your boy won't get involved.
And,
remember?
Yep, and that's what happened. He tried to do the old school Bobby Heenan, hold the foot down with the suplex spot to see if to make us think that Pat had a chance to win by fluke.
Yeah.
It didn't work out.
Yep.
If anything, it made things worse because Gunther was like, "How dare you? Let me show.
How dare you?
How dare you? Let me show you how this is done." And it wasn't a squash, but Pat McAfee had no chance in hell.
No, I said that. I was like, he's definitely not gonna win. But I was like, he's just not gonna get fucking, washed real quick. And shout out to Pat McAfee, bro. He hung in there, man. He hung in there and he sold it, bro. He sold the fuck out of that shit.
Yeah, he hung in there in terms of like taking the punishment. The crowd was behind him.
Yeah.
And his hope spots got the crowd lit. Sloppy maybe, but he still, his punts and the limited things that he did were enough to get the crowd behind him. So I can't deny that. I cannot.
No fucking way you're gonna beat Gunther, bro. No way.
But Gunther did exactly what I thought he was going to do, and that was whoop his ass. And I was trying to figure out what the fallout was going to be on Raw, and I think they did it the right way. They did. They did it the right way. But overall, the match, Gold, what do you think?
I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I knew Pat was gonna get his ass whooped, but I was like, all right, man, at least give a fucking chance, bro. Like, at least give it your all, man. And like I said, your boy getting involved, I knew that was gonna happen. It was gonna be some kind of distraction or whatever to make people think, oh shit, he can win. And then Gunther be like, nah, fuck that. Y'all got me way the fucked up, bro. I'm fucking Gunther, man. I'm a fucking problem, and I'm gonna let you know I'm making an example, man. But I also like the gentleman yesterday, Andrew Gunther was like, yo, you know what? You all right, man.
Yeah, you're tough.
You okay.
You're tough. I respect you because the average man would have crumbled, but you hung in there,
Hung in there, man.
Kind of like
rocking the square 11s and shit, looking cool.
You seen that episode of Martin where Tommy Hearns knocked that nigga into the torched him out the ring into the wall.
Classic episode.
And Martin was like, "Hey, little man, hung in there, didn't he?" And he was like, "Yeah, little man." He's like, "Gina, I want to go home now."
That's exactly what it was, yo.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was.
What did you?
And, like Pat McAfee shared some pictures. Did you see that?
I saw on Raw when he had pulled his show how he still had the bruises and the whelps and whatnot.
Yeah.
Those chops are legit, man. Those chops is legit.
Hell yeah.
Madison Jay, what did you think about the match?
It was definitely I felt it was better than expected. Pat has a pretty solid track record. Whenever he steps in the ring, he definitely understands the assignment.
Yes.
But be real, the slip up, it was funny as fuck, but it's realistic. This is not a everyday wrestler. He's not supposed to have these clean, crisp ass moves. I think some guys get lost. Like you think somebody who isn't a actual, not saying he is equipped, but he's not like somebody who's on Raw or SmackDown every day. No, do these moves A1. So yeah, he's gonna fuck up a little bit, but I enjoyed the performance. I love that Gunther showed respect at the end. I thought that was really dope. And also it kind of shows that, APAC is tough.
Yeah.
I laughed my ass off because I was like, damn, look how tough Pat fought out of the sleeper. Look how quick Gunther tapped out
To Jay. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
That's still like a little shit stain on that match. It's like
Still is.
Yeah.
And to me, I was like, damn, if he just it's always gonna be in my mind just because people made it, but also, to the fact that it did look a little crazy. But I'm just like, yo, if he would have just held out, like passed out, it would have made the moment even much more doper. But just the fact of like, yo, this is a guy who uses that move and he's gonna tap out that quick. All right, bet. So when I saw that, I was like, damn, that's what's up with Pat. Like, I don't know if this is something, I didn't see this conversation or topic, but I know it's coming up on Logan's side. But what fans have to understand is you're gonna see guys like Pat, guys like Logan Paul, guys of that ilk, and shout out to the OG Miz. And I'm pretty sure there's somebody before him, but he's somebody like, you're gonna have people who just respect the culture, who are students of the game, who come from outside areas, who excelled in different other fields and said, I'm still want to pursue and chase the love of wrestling, whether it's commentating, whether it's stepping in the ring. You're going to see that. You're going to see more of it. And people complain about it. It's like, what the fuck are you complaining about? A lot of our legends have come from other backgrounds and stepped in and, become greats.
Mr. T,
Trish Stratus, you know what I'm saying? I mean, pretty much all the football players, who
Kevin Green,
Mongo, RMP Mongo.
Man, rest in peace, Mongo. You know what I mean? Lex Luger, Bill Goldberg. I mean, Brock Lesnar. I mean, you got those guys, but then you got a Kevin Green. You know what I mean? And I'm about to call him Mr. Lawrence Taylor. Just and to a degree, I think that was more or less a check. They inspired him to get that. But my point is like, yo, for every Lawrence Taylor, you're going to have a Stephen Amell. Like, hey man, I'm willing to really get in the ring daily, weekly, hourly, and really train to understand this culture because I grew up on it. Especially millennials, Generation X, you're gonna have guys who came up under wrestling in a mainstream way, in a nostalgic way, and they're gonna want to, pursue that dream. Travis, somebody who I know this, come up in wrestling, but at the same time, again, for every Travis Scott, you got a Bad Bunny. So, again, seeing someone like Pat McAfee, and again, his track record right now, it's dope, and to me, if they were to be like, yo, we're gonna put Pat in a situation where it's like, yo, we might put a title on him or something. If they were to go that level, I wouldn't even be mad. He's shown you that he can be entertaining. What matters to me, dog, is being entertaining. And Pat is somebody who definitely is entertaining in all his fields, commentating, podcasting, and as well in the ring. He's entertaining. So for the match, for me, it was like a solid 3 out of 5. You know what I mean? 3.5 out of 5. Just one of those matches that like it did what it needed to do. And shout out to Pat for being able to, withstand and stand up to Gunther, even just off the strength, because I thought it was dope. I'm like, damn, they should have had a wrestler do that, but dope.
I won't mad at it.
I won't mad either. I did see some people gripe about, see Gunther after a world title, he's facing a damn commentator. What is WWE doing with him? I'm like, bro,
it's all right.
Come on, man. Like,
yeah.
Let
them write the story, man.
Yeah, like
something's coming. Just let them cook.
Mind you, he's right back in the title scene. One match,
Hey, listen, if I would have tapped out at WrestleMania and the fans are picking on me into that event, I would have probably choked out an announcer too.
Right. So it makes sense,
Yeah, it makes sense. I think this actually
got it out my system.
Right.
Now it's back to business.
Right. I think it's also just a great demonstration of this crowd connection is really important.
Yeah, and crowd loved it.
That's what it's about.
Crowd loved it.
That is what it's about.
Yeah, so I'm with it. I have no complaints. I had no issue with it being on a pay-per-view card. I have no problem with him having another match on the pay-per-view card. So he did his thing. He has my respect. So.
And people tuned into that match just all the strength of Pat McAfee too.
Yeah.
It was like, oh shit. They just watched his show and they didn't even really probably fuck with wrestling and they just watched that shit. Oh shit, yo. Our podcaster they would like to listen to is gonna wrestle this guy named Gunther in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to him.
It just reached a whole different crowd.
Talk to him.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. Yeah, so that was cool. So I'm gonna get to the next match, Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch. This match was like the second longest match of the night, and I thought this match was excellent. A very good, strong win for Lyra. Becky did her thing. She played her part.
Yeah.
I have no complaints about the match itself or the outcome of this match. Everything was cool, and Becky got her heat back by immediately trying to attack afterwards. Lyra selling the nose. At first, I thought she poked her in the eye, but I guess it was the nose that she was selling. I wasn't sure.
Right.
I thought she poked her in the eye, but she was.
It was like
right.
So it's kind of hard to tell, but I thought the same though.
But
I was confused too.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, did she really break her nose?
I thought
she had one arm and she was kind of like holding on her nose like the shit hurt.
So I thought it was like a.
So I was confused by that.
Yeah, I thought it was a shoot. I thought like she really legit got
broke her nose.
Slip ups happen. Now, granted, her nose wasn't bleeding, so maybe it wasn't.
Yeah.
But she won with the roll up, which is kind of like the safe win to beat somebody.
Yeah.
Of a Becky Lynch level. The crowd was behind it. I think this was Lyra's probably best showing of her entire time on the main roster. And I think this was a match that legitimized or validated that Lyra really is a very talented up and comer. I mean, she's still mid-20s, like so much potential. Although I like Roxanne Perez more. And I think Roxanne Perez should have got drafted before Lyra did. At the time, Roxanne was still the champion on NXT. They don't draft the champions. Cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool. I'll let that slide. But Lyra definitely proved herself. I guess the question for her would be what's next. However, we'll get into that in a few moments. Gold, what did you think of the match?
I did enjoy the match. Just the finish just was a little bit like I was just kind of like confused by like, it's like, yo, was she really hurt? Or was it kind of like she was just trying to sell it, Like I said, like just the one arm, like roll up, winning with that. I'm like, Becky would have kicked out of some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only thing that confused me. But really great match. And I knew what this match was. This match was to set Lyra up to say, you know what? I can go toe-to-toe with the best of the best. You know what I'm saying? Like Becky Lynch, shout out to Becky. We all love Becky. But this was just to see how far she could go. You know what I'm saying? Like the push her limits. And I think she kind of earned, if she didn't already have everybody's respect, she was just kind of like, all right, if this don't earn my respect, then I don't know what is. But enjoyed the match, but just like I said, the ending was just a little weird for me or whatever. Like, I just want to know what was going on with that, the nose thing. Did she really break her nose or I don't know. That was just a weird ending.
Right, because she wasn't on TV the next day to tout her victory. So, who's to say? Now, granted, I did no fact checking online to see if it was legit or not. But maybe I'll check that out later. Madison, what did you think of the match?
It literally, pretty much every sentiment you guys expressed, I carry them pretty much the same. I saw the play of what it was. Let's set Lyra up. Becky. Oddly enough, motherfuckers trying to call her Hulk Hogan, female Hulk Hogan, which is the complete opposite of what Hogan would have done.
Where did that come from? I saw that.
I'm gonna be real, man. It's some people it's some people in the internet community who just are completely opposed to women. They like literally, they just do not like women in authoritative,
Bit weird, yo.
Yeah, it's really weird, and just because of and I'm like, mind you, to use something like Hogan, you know what I mean? Like, That's
I'm
just
compare Becky to Hogan.
That's a reach.
yeah, like you don't want to be compared to Hogan in a female version, mind you, it gets thrown to Charlotte a lot, but Becky's like, yo, what,
Man, who's Becky?
So
Who's Becky held down? I'm like, I don't
no, but like,
what?
it's just again that you don't not wanting to see, and people got to understand, man, to see people, to see athletes at this level, at a consistent high level, still able to contribute to the game. I do not care. You utilize that.
Yeah.
It's funny because I always look back and be like, damn, okay. You know how they were saying, mind you, outside of the scummery from Hulk Hogan, I look back and I see his reign or whatever when he was on top. And I look at other guys as well, and kind of measure them up. And I'm like, okay, you've got guys who in today's time who have had longer runs than those guys did, and you don't really get too much backlash about them having their runs. And it's crazy to me because I just think now in this era, you've got guys who, for one, are able to last longer in terms of their runs physically as well, being able to last longer. So you got guys who like, oh yeah, I've been competing at a high level for like 10 years, you know what I mean? Or 15 years, AJ Styles, all right. So you have these women, Becky, Sasha, Charlotte. Hey, bro, they're just that fucking good. Sorry. I don't know what else to tell you. They're just that good. But also at the same time, hey, I'm able to work with other talent that the company is putting me up against, and I'm willing to do, whatever. Again, Becky takes the L. For her, she could easily like, nah, let me just get the Intercontinental title, have her chase me, work her. No, Lyra gets the win. Mind you, I'm going to get a beat down at the end, but everybody looks good. Just to me, the match did what it needed to do. It also can open up for another potential match as well, just on a revenge factor for Lyra. Like, I don't, that beat down, it only adds a fire into me. It intensifies me. Let's do this in a such and such match. And, or Becky could coerce her into, let me get another match. However that scenario. Right. However that could go. But definitely, I feel the same sentiments again. Lyra, definitely one of her best outings on the main roster. And we'll see where that IC program goes. We'll see where Becky goes. Does she go up the ladder in a sense? Does she go down? We know that's not going to happen, but
no. I think she's at a level now, bro. She's just kind of like, what we say VS is a pullover. Let me help this talent, develop, and I'm just gonna be the OG.
Okay.
I think Becky's at that point now. I really don't see Becky like. I mean, I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's just my guess. I just don't see Becky being like a front runner with a title no more. I think she's gonna be more of like a helper, like a like a paddle. Not a paddle one, but what's the She's gonna bring in Lyra's her apprentice right now.
Okay.
Okay, so like a Jedi and a Padawan.
She's her Padawan.
Yes.
Yeah, Jedi and a Padawan.
Yeah, because Becky's put over Lyra on NXT. Like Lyra's already beat Becky before, right? Like they have history. So Becky, I've never seen. I would never attach the word selfish to a Becky Lynch.
No, never.
Or like I've never heard of her being a backstage politician or anything like that. She's just the man. And I just think maybe it's one thing for you to say maybe you're tired of it, but she's been gone for a year, right? You've had plenty of time for other talent to elevate. And if she comes back, right, if she comes back and she still gets to come in, just like John Cena can go away, come back and call his shot and get a world title shot when he wants to. You put in the work, you paid your dues, and that's where it's at.
And you've never heard nobody talk shit about people like Becky Lynch or John Cena. Everybody's always like, "Yo, John always gave me great advice." Or
I've actually heard people talk shit about both of them.
I've heard shit, yeah.
But not in large groves though. Just again, like I said earlier, you're gonna have people who speak in a positive light of you and a negative. Because sometimes you can't even control it just because like, oh, I don't like you, or that one time of where I was pissed off and someone caught me when I was pissed.
Yeah.
And they use that as a...
And they hold you in that picture forever.
Right.
Yeah. It's a perception thing, especially in the online world. Like one disgruntled person who feels like they're being held back might blame it on someone else, go to a dirt sheet, put it out there, and now it's in the universe. Like Triple H has a very bad reputation for his run in the 2000s, which may or may not be true. I don't know, right? Even same with John Cena. He was on the top. His run, he was on the top for a very long time, and not many people cracked that surface. But if it was based on where the business was going in terms of revenue and the way it was, like, you got to do what's best for business at the end of the day. And but I remember JTG from Crime Time. He made a book. He wrote a book. I bought his book, and he talked about how, you know, just having heat with John Cena kind of fucked him up career-wise.
Yeah.
Like John Cena was really politicking.
They was on his John Cena side. It's like, yo, you're not gonna get in the way about Golden Boy. You can go fuck yourself.
Right. Yeah. So if you read JTG's book, and it's a very short read, you can read it probably in an hour and a half. But him just talking about how he had just heat in his career. I think his book was called "I Probably Shouldn't Say This" or something like that. I got to check my Kindle. But hey, where's JTG at now? I don't know. He was a talented guy.
Independence.
All right. Rest in peace, Shad Gaspar, by the way. But
rest in peace, Shad.
Let's continue. So yeah, we'll talk about Becky and what she did on Raw in a few moments. But great match for Lyra, great showing. She has crazy potential. Last match on Backlash was Dominic Mysterio beating Penta with shenanigans, which is what we predicted. We predicted some Judgment Day shenanigans. We did not predict El Grande Americana to come in and really cause the loss. But if you look at the graphic on the left side, with Dom holding his belt in victory, what do you see? What look is Finn Balor giving Dom at this moment?
Jealousy.
He got lust in his eyes.
Yeah.
For that title, he couldn't hide it, and he kind of hesitated with the interference.
Yeah. It's on the way, man.
It's on the way.
Dom versus Finn, bro.
Hey, they again. I don't know what's different in this era, but Judgment Day. For them to still be here, to still be cooking. Not necessarily like how the Bloodline, because it's a tier under the Bloodline. But the fact that they're still here going through 3 different iterations of the group, two or three iterations of the group, still be here and, still cooking, still, developing storylines, I think is so dope. Again, that Dominic and Finn Balor face off, I think it'll be dope. It'll be a good look for Dominic, whose resume is just steadily growing. He's added the IC title to the repertoire. Penta doing, 2 things at one. Hey, let me help out the young homie, give him a good showing. Also, at the same time, keep myself looking cool. And that's for anybody who's, Penta should have won. Patience, young Padawans. Right. Everything in due time. I think this Dominic run right now is a little bit more important because he's the character that just needs, Penta doesn't need a belt right now. He's good. He's just cool as fuck.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's good. Dominic in terms of, his growth as a character and just everything with his stars aligning. Yeah, that IC title helps out now because, it's just adding to his growing great resume. But the match did what it needed to do. Didn't blow me out the water, but what blew me out was just that Dom is just he's really finding the rhythm. He's just really finding the rhythm. He's really found his rhythm. He's so comfortable, and just even be on the same course as Penta. I thought that was just really dope. So shout out to both men for an exciting match. El Grande Americano, I like it.
I like it.
I like it.
Yeah.
Excuse me. It's different. Just off the fact of, Gable just doing the, the split thing. But also the fact of mixing it up with a lot. And it's crazy because even to casuals, to a casual American WWE fan, Lucha Libre is getting thrown around, you know, and it's always been thrown around. Just even Rey Mysterio, but the way that it's getting, you know, in the lexicon, normal lexicon, I just think it's dope. And to people who, again, the haters of the angle, you gotta look at it, man. Like it, you know, it's putting flair on Lucha Libre wrestling and all the history behind that. Also, at the same time, Gable, he's flexing his acting skills and his character skills. You know what I mean? Like it takes special talent to do these things. It's not easy. You know what I mean? People have done it before and they weren't as successful. But I like what he's doing with the whole angle and the with the gimmick. But yeah, personally, I love what Dom is doing. He is cooking up so much. I'm gonna be real. Finn, he's got to do something like with his attire. I don't know if he got to go back to damn wearing.
Being a demon, he got to do something.
Yeah, bro. Like I hate it. It's so like
he's trying to be cool, but it's not.
Yeah, and it's like no, bro. Like no.
Like, all right, I see you with the airship ones on, bro. Cool,
and it's like it was cool when he was doing the Judgment Day colors because it'd be like, okay, what can he match up that's black and purple? I'm like, okay, it's got a nice little lineup, but it's like you got your little flag in your pants. I'm like, nah, bro, go back to, you know what I'm saying, with the yeah, please, because attire is so important to me sometimes.
Yeah, but
all the time,
but
really.
Dom got on.
Me too, bro. Me too.
Dom got the cowskin La Parka outfit going on. He's cowskin psychosis.
Dom shit be fire, bro. It's fire. It's wrestling gear.
His gear is like some of the best.
Yes.
In all of wrestling, honestly, and the way that he taps into different tributes to people. Stuff like that.
He did Psychosis. I didn't know Psychosis was his godfather. That's so fucking dope.
Yeah, Psychosis and Conan.
Definitely a Psychosis.
Yeah. But it's so like that. It's stuff like that. Like that's what I'm saying. That's why, like with Finn, I'm so disappointed that I thought it was a one-time thing or just but he loves those. I'm like, come on, bro, please. But long story short story long. I thought it was you know what I mean? Thought it was. The match did what it needed to do. Mm-hmm. Kept, you know, storylines going, and Dom for president, man.
Yeah, Dom is definitely showing out his wrestling ability. He did that suicide dive into a DDT. That was very impressive.
What?
Yes.
What? Yeah.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go to the Titantron VS.
Bro, what?
I might have to go to the Tron. Hold on. Let me see if I can.
Yes, please.
Let me see if I can find it.
Oh my God. Like, nigga, I fucking tweaked when he did it.
It was so smooth, too.
Yes.
Let's see if someone clipped it.
He said, my motherfucking father is Rey Mysterio Jr., in case y'all fucking forgot.
But also shout out to Penta as well for, you know what I mean, doing what he needed to do to, you know, bring the whole move together.
Yes,
because you gotta have a good dance partner.
Let me turn the volume.
Yes,
let me turn the volume down. Here's the move right here. Smooth. Smooth.
Stop fucking playing with me, yo. Do y'all know who my dad is? Stop playing with me.
Yeah, I can't front.
Stop fucking playing with me, bro.
I can't front. That was smooth as can be. His frog splash is starting to look really crispy as well. Very, very tight. He definitely does it on some Eddie Guerrero tightness, type of tightness with it. I think Dom needs more strong, definitive, dominating wins. Right now, he's still escaping by a hair, which goes great with his character. But in the event that he turns face as a result of this dispute with Finn, we have to believe that he's capable of doing things on his own and winning on his own. However, there's so many different pieces to this puzzle with El Grande's obsession with beating luchadors and Finn's just his jealousy brewing, Dom getting cocky and arrogant by getting his first main roster singles title. A lot of different stories are coming out of it, and Penta still being a thorn with Judgment Day, in the side of Judgment Day, but also at the same time beating Chad Gable the next night, right?
Yeah.
I think now my boy Nick was saying he wants this El Grande storyline to end. He wanted to end at WrestleMania. I wanted to keep going all the way up till Worlds Collide, the AAA Fusion show.
There we go.
You know what I mean? And
there we go.
Then eventually Mask versus Mask with Rey Mysterio.
Come on, like it writes itself.
Yeah.
It writes itself, and we're students of the game, so it's like we understand. Like even if it's written far out, we can kind of obviously the end game. You got to think, man. People are gonna go home crazy. If that is the end goal, that is what to happen. To me, I would go home. Hey, thumbs up, man. Culmination of a great storyline. Chad Gable doing what he does. Whoever they're gonna have against him, Rey Mysterio, perfect. You know what I mean? It just certain stories, they write themselves, even if you know how it ends.
Yep.
It's just a matter of how do we get there. We always say that we know the destination. It's a matter of how do we get there. So
yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's it.
To see that
it never gets old. It's just different actors. Let me see how you deliver.
Never.
Yeah, it just never gets old. So yeah, shout out to Dom.
Absolutely.
I'm rooting for him, and I can't wait to see what his next 10 years looks like. Do you think Dom will be a future world champion?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh yeah.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I mean, Dom put in his work, bro. He's been putting in his work for years.
Yes.
Like him starting off as being a tag team with his father and kind of like being mediocre to like, jumping to the Judgment Day and being booed and shit, and then finally going to WrestleMania, this year, and motherfuckers cheering for him.
Yeah.
And he felt that shit. Like you said, man, you called it out, Madison. He was like, you don't know if that was like when he ran back to the ring. I think that was just some shit. Like he felt that shit and ran back to the ring. He was like, yeah, I finally fucking did it. And
absolutely.
I'm not under my dad's shadow no more. I'm making a name for myself and I'm fucking cool. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So now he in his bag, bro. Like you about to be on the run for a while.
Yeah.
My prediction.
28 tender years of age.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Imagine him by 35. Barring injury, of course. Stay healthy, Dom.
Right.
Stay healthy. His style's not too reckless, but people get hurt on the simplest.
Moves.
Yeah. So.
Vince McMahon blowing 2 quads just by going in the ring.
By sliding in the ring, exactly.
My God.
Vince blowing 2 quads, Shane blowing quads doing a damn leapfrog.
Come on now.
Fucking Triple H blowing a quad just trying to break up a pin.
Yeah.
Kevin Nash blowing out a quad trying to run across the ring. It's just, you never know. You just never know.
You don't.
You never know. All right, moving on to some of the segments on Raw. I didn't put everything up here because some things just really didn't hit. But I wanted to point out, Gunther, he already claimed that he's going to get a world title shot from who wins between Jey Uso and Logan Paul, which pretty much told me that Logan Paul is not going to win.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's just setting up for the rematch for Gunther and Jey.
Which Jey needs to win. Jey needs to win both of these matches strong and win them definitively with no shenanigans, in my opinion, to really cement this run. Because I don't think he's going to have it past SummerSlam. I don't know why I keep putting SummerSlam as the day where everyone dances, but it's 2 nights. And I think it's going to be Seth J at SummerSlam for that title. But other than that, with that being said, Gunther's going to get a shot. He came out, he beat Pat McAfee. He had a good in-the-ring interaction with Jey. Still doesn't really respect him that much, but Logan respects him even less. So, what do you think about the target on Jey's back right now? Gold, you go first.
I think it's necessary, like going to what you said, like he needs some good victories to like solidify him being champion. You know what I'm saying? He needs to be challenged. Like he needs to stay like he gotta stay like, like fun and like competitive, you know what I'm saying? So it's gonna take like a Logan Paul who's like, you know, red hot on social media, period. And it's gonna take a Gunther who's like, you know, one of the top wrestlers like in his division, you know what I'm saying? So like that's some shit that he got to win to stay like for people to like kind of like, you know, salute him as being like the world champion and not just off of his popularity, you know, with like the you know the dance and shit, you know what I'm saying, and the yeet, like the, you know, the slogans and stuff. So that's what it's gonna take for him to be, you know, a solid WWE champion in the figure, like in a division.
To be a Hall of
You gotta win.
To be a Hall of Fame inductee on his own without his brother, he needs to have that solid
under his resume.
That title run. Yeah. What do you think, Madison Jay?
I actually think the opposite. I think right now Jay is solidified in terms of what a WWE Hall of Fame career would, you know, incorporate. Dolo by himself, without Jimmy.
By himself.
Just the strip up that yeet really, you know, it is one of the catchphrases that is infamous, will live in time, one of the all-time greats. I hate that Jay gets flack for that, because I think people underestimate what it takes to get over with fans. Like, it's not just simple as saying something and, oh, it gets over. Like, a connection with fans is a connection with fans is special. You cannot duplicate it. It cannot be manufactured. It can be influenced, yes, but excuse me. In terms of the people gravitating towards something, they're going to gravitate where they gravitate towards. To just, it is what it is. Just the fact of that Jay organically did it. I just think that's, you know, that's incredible. It's dope. You know, Austin. You know what I mean? Does he get flack for just, hey, Austin 316 says I just kicked your ass, and Austin 316 like drinking beer? Is that all he's regulated to? You know what I mean? Well, The Rock for having a cool catchphrase. Is that all he's regulated to? That's the whole a part of the process, and the greatness is like having things that catch on and people can, you know, regurgitate on a weekly basis, even when your character is no longer gone. Because I think Yeet is something that could live beyond Jey Uso, because it's just so, you know, it's dope, it's cool, especially in this era right now. But I think Jay, for me, well, for one, before I get in particular with the segment, I don't always feel that you have to have a long title run in order for it to be dope. I think I go back to, and it's funny, but I go back to Kane, when Kane won his first title. He won the belt. I think it was in the three-way with Austin, him and Taker, I think.
It was a first blood match.
First blood. Lost the belt the same, you know, the next day on Raw. And it was funny because they still, when, you know, they spoke of Kane, they still use that title win as like, he's a former WWE champion, former WWE champion, until he was able to get, you know, the title again and stuff like that. And it always kind of, I laughed and chuckled, because I'm like, he only had it for like 24 hours. And they always mention that too. 24-hour reign from Kane, you know. But at the same time, it's like, it's the impact. And for Jay, it's like the impact, the fact of like, you just won the belt, bro. You actually achieved the mountain. Everybody doesn't need like a 6, 7, 8 year reign, because it to me, it gets predictable and it gets kind of boring. It's like, hey, bro lost the belt in a month and a half. Cool. You know what I mean? Like, it's a design for everything. There's something for everything. There's a play for everything. And I feel like certain people, they have their role that they need to play. So Jay, for me, if he were to lose the belt to Logan, yuck. But at the same time, okay, I get it. Controversial. it could, you know, yeah, like what? You know, it could spark something. You know, it obviously will be controversial for probably the wrong reasons, but you know, who's to say? But if you were to get past Logan and then lose the title to Gunther, I wouldn't even be mad, just off the strength of, hey, you know, or probably, you know, Jay would have done what was necessary hey, who's to say it's not helping Gunther's story, of what comes out for his story? It helps out Jay, but even if he were to take it to SummerSlam and get to Seth, and let's just say he loses, hey man, this is dope, and I'm pretty sure that match is going to be dope. The one if he does eventually get to Seth, but not to jump too much, but just I think the promo for one from Jay was incredible. You can tell he spoke from a place of sincerity. He's speaking from his heart. Like he sees and hears these things, like people talking shit on him, and it's like, nah, bro. Whether it's fake or not, I'm going in with a chip on my shoulder as the champion, and I'm going for blood. And because at the end of the day, I know I'm getting past Logan, but I'm talking to you, Gunther, and I'm talking to all the people who are criticizing me who don't feel that I'm supposed to be here. I'm talking to y'all, so I hope y'all are listening. And he gave a very passionate promo, and I want to see also how Logan steps up, because this is his third big title match.
Third.
Was the match with Roman for the title?
Yeah.
So this is his second one, and mind you, it's a proving ground for almost all these parties of like, okay, Logan, again, do you have to show why you belong here? Because that match could be pretty dope. He's had a lot. His resume's not bad either with the matches. So I just think in particular with these three guys and what they're doing with this storyline, each of them have a chip on the shoulder that has to be they're going to have to address within this story arc as we move on.
Yeah. This is Roman, Logan Cody, and now Logan Jay for his third world title shot. I think Logan will be the champion someday, but that day is not now. In terms of title runs, I'm more impressed now by defenses than I am time holding the title.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You get a good amount of solid defenses, you are a good champion. Because like if you look at a UFC, you can lose it any given Saturday. You could have won it, at UFC 36 and now you lost it at UFC 37 or 38, depending on how it's spread out. So I'm kind of with you on that. The long title run's not really necessary anymore, but that one title defense quick transition to just hand just the hot potato it around. I don't miss the hot potato days, where in one year the title switched hands, 8 times, and that's happened back in the past. That was ridiculous, especially in WCW. But WWE had a brief moment.
I ain't gonna lie. They definitely had a hot potato era, and I think that was a result, pretty much of like the rating war of like, okay, trying to pop for a rating. Hey, title switch. We're trying to hit you with the unexpected, and it's crazy because that was a negative byproduct of that era. A part of outside of the nostalgia and excitement and all the highs, that was a low of just like, yo, what the hell are y'all doing? Like, y'all just throwing shit to the wall to see if it'll stick. And it's just like, come on, man, let's have some type of, let's have some structure.
Yeah, like if you were to put like Rock's combined title reigns, Stone Cold's combined title reigns, they were all both maybe less than a year and a half, definitely less than a year and a half. Maybe even less than a year. So I'm not necessarily impressed by you being a 17-time world champion if the total time that you've had it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm impressed by Roman Reigns having belts for 4 years. And he defended it a lot. You know what I mean? Versus, I'm the 17-time champion. That means I lost, 18 times or whatever. So this is one of those
ratio.
Yeah, this is one of those things. But do you think when Jay finally locks up with Gunther again, it's going to be a straight up wrestling match, or do you think they're at the go to the gimmick match level at this point? Gunther's not really known for a gimmick. He's not a gimmick match guy.
No,
I don't think it. I wouldn't say that they need a gimmick. One thing that AEW does that I like is just like, it's just a straight up second match. You know what I mean? But there's more emphasis on like, hey, these guys have wrestled before. They've got a rapport with each other in the ring. It I don't get a blood feud or some type of feud. A match type like that. If anything, I think it would be in favor of something that Gunther would like. Hey, let's kind of some William Regal, Duchess of York rules type thing. Jay, he's not really big into hardcore type matches like that per se. He's a brawler, but if anything, maybe no DQ would be the closest I could say of a different match type. But if anything, it's just, it's part two, but the roles are reversed. Is Gunther, he's challenger, Jay is champion. That would just kind of be the tagline. It's like, okay, Jay and Gunther too.
Yeah.
Just rock out like that.
I'm gonna go ahead and make like a crazy ass prediction, and y'all can like bookmark this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jay is gonna hold on to that title.
Okay.
And I think it's gonna be a setup for him to lose that shit to Seth, and then Seth is gonna hold on to that shit, and it's gonna be him versus Roman at the next WrestleMania.
And that's how
I'm making that prediction
and that's how Roman's going to get his hands on that world title to add to his trophy
Yes,
case.
Sir.
Okay, so I'm not mad at that.
Me neither.
I see that happening.
Makes sense.
On the flip side, depending on what they want to do with Gunther, I'm thinking, and this is going by what happened with Pat McAfee. Jay beats Gunther. Gunther shakes his hand out of respect. Ludwig is the catalyst to Gunther's possible face turn.
Okay. I like that too.
Unless Ludwig's coming after Jay, but you saw he had like 5 seconds of camera time last night. They were saying you know what I'm saying? They're like, we ain't seen you in a while.
The fuck?
Right.
This is about me right now, yeah.
Right. And I think they kind of teased a little dissension between them months and months and months ago. But I think if Jay beats Gunther decisively again, Gunther gotta extend his hand and shake it.
Yeah,
that makes sense to me. But they might go complete. Who knows? He might put him in a sleeper and hold on to it forever. Who knows? Right? But
I don't. It's crazy because I don't want to see a face Gunther. I would more like him as a tweener, more like
I'm gonna beat up everybody.
Kind of. Yeah, just beat up people. You can like it or not. And his thing is like, if I respect you enough, is Gunther gonna shake your hand at the end? Is he gonna shake you? Like it's like a sign of approval. Like, okay,
I'm not even gonna play like I fought with you.
Right. Hey, you extend your hand out, might spit on it or slap it out of the way, but I extend mine. Hey, and it's like when you turn down a Gunther handshake, it's a major sign of disrespect, or you embrace it and it's like, okay, but I would love to see Ludwig get boosted up more because he is a guy. I'm like, he's a natural heel to me. Like he just looks like he looks like a bad guy in a Bond movie.
He looks like a fucking asshole, bro. Like
straight up asshole. I don't want to drink beers with you ever.
Straight up, ever.
Man, like just nose up, looking at you like, yo, who fuck are you? You know what I'm saying?
He's somebody if done proper character wise, he could be a high asset.
Yeah.
In the long run, and I hate my man Giovanni didn't get to flex his joint, but yeah.
It's hard to be
I think they gotta complete that story arc though with Ludwig and Gunther.
Yeah, it's got to happen, and I think just to put this whole angle to bed because Gunther disrespected Jay so much leading up to WrestleMania. I can only see it ending with Gunther saying, "All right, you got my respect now."
Right.
You know what I mean? All right. So Becky Lynch. She went full heel last night in her promo, or did she? She just said, I am whatever you say I am. If I wasn't, why would I say I am?
Yeah, she about to get some goddamn cease and desist letters.
Possibly. Probably Universal Music Group going to have a nice little letter going to her house the next day.
Right.
Miss Lynch, can we see you in the room?
I liked her promo. I liked her motivation, and Madison, me and Gold talked about this last week. The new angle for a lot of these heels is justified heels. Anakin Skywalker, technically his reason for going to the dark side was kind of justified. Kinda. Yeah. Or was it? There's like a little gray area.
I have a reason to show the fuck out.
Right, so she...
No. God, and I don't even want to stray, but you have to... you just quickly, because I'm definitely... I'm Star Wars. But what was Anakin's reasoning for going? Was it for...
He was just trying to save Padme. That's what it seemed like to me.
He was upset he couldn't save his wife.
He was trying to save his wife, and he felt like he thought the Emperor would be the one to help him save her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, basically he coerced
him. He was let down.
He coerced him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he got seduced by the dark side.
I remember now.
Yeah.
He thought it wasn't strong enough.
But he was a good kid up until that point, until something.
No, absolutely. Yep. And it's crazy because I had to do a little refresh, but I definitely remember now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like every villain has an origin story, right? In the case of Becky, she's like, I think she was just like, playing off of the whole Hogan, the online eruptions about her, and she's like, well, fuck it, let me just see how far I can go with it. And right. She didn't go. She went in on the fans, but not crazy hard. Like when you're a heel who used to be a big face, if you go in on the fans, it might kind of get in the way of you jumping back to a face. Now, right. In wrestling, everything's always forgiven, but like when I look at John Cena and how hard he's going, calling him, how hard John Cena's going around dissing the fans just to get the heat, because he knows he needs to have no redeemable qualities to really make this work, because people are still going to cheer him. People are still going to wear a shirt, hat down to the socks to the wristband and everything, right? So Becky's super over from a female on that type of level. So she's like, all right, well, let me go in a little bit. Let me call y'all a bunch of failures and whatnot. But she's like, well, fuck it. I'm just going to roll with whatever y'all say. You think I'll hold people down? I'm getting ready to hold people down now. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to terrorize this locker room. And I was kind of cool with it. I didn't really care for big time Bex when she did that heel run. But this one, at least the scenes that they're planning, I like a little bit better. I like the edge and the attitude on this one a little bit better. But what are your thoughts? You go first, Gold.
I'm gonna say that the Eminem quota will just kill it for me though, bro.
I loved it when she said that. I was like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna let you have it.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna let you have it. I liked it. I loved it. But I'm an Eminem fan too, so go figure.
Come on, baby. You got all the time in the world to come up with some shit. You got to use the Eminem quotable. It's fuck out of here.
Bro, there's probably a million kids in that damn arena that don't even know where that came from.
Yeah.
The Marshall Mathers LP was 2000.
Yeah, you're right. They weren't even born, probably.
Yeah, they don't fucking know. But
funny story. I bought WWF Aggression over the Marshall Mathers LP because I think they dropped it. I think they dropped the same day.
Is that,
or at least
is that the one that had the disturbed version of Stone Cold's theme?
Nope, it was all rap.
Okay, so that's the one that the Can You Dig It?
Yeah, they did remix.
Oh no, they had Snoop Dogg over Stone Cold's theme.
Dub C, Method Man, Ice-T.
Mm-hmm.
Who did the Godfather theme song? That was up there, Warner. Who did
Ice-T?
Ice-T, yep.
Ice-T and I think Cool Keith. Mm-hmm. I think Ice-T. Cool Keith was up there, but Ice-T. What's wild though is okay, so I was more a wrestling fan than I was more into hip-hop at that time. It was literally my transition from going into just a casual listener to okay, no, I'm listening to bars. I'm deciphering what they're saying. I'm learning the difference between all these different artists outside of just guys who are making music. So I bought it off the strength of hip-hop. Okay, just off the strength of I'm a black Southern kid, whatever. Okay, I'm definitely on the rap tip, but also wrestling primarily. So I'm listening to these guys, not knowing 5, 6, 10 years later, I'm going to be fully submerged into this world. So guys like Peanut Butter Wolf, Cool Keith, R.A. the Rugged Man. I'm hearing these guys for the first time, and I'm like, okay, but you're rhyming over these themes. Anyway, long story short, short story long.
True story. I'm gonna cut you off. I know his mom, bro. R.A. the Rugged Man. I know his mother.
Well, did you when he came in? When he opened up for Onyx, were you at that show?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
His mom is a makeup artist, bro. Crazy. True story.
That's crazy. Those 6 degrees of separation are real.
All right, but go back with your story. I'm sorry.
Nah, just essentially, I just always kind of laugh because it's like, mind you, in retrospect, bro, that's like a classic CD, Marshall Mathers. But I was like, nope, I'm getting WWF aggression. I'm copping that, and it's like I just remember because I copped it on a field trip in 8th grade, and I just remember everybody was like, "Why?" You know, I mean, kind of like, even with it being rap, why did you get that? Why'd you get that CD? Like, could have got Jay, you could have got, you know what I'm saying?
My vibe.
Bro, it's wrestling, you know what I'm saying? This is something, I've been a wrestling fan longer than I've been a hip hop fan. So it's just something, but Becky, it was a little cringe because I'm like, this was like 20 years ago, and it messed me up because I'm like, it's 20 years ago, but I'm like, it's 20 years ago, like, yo, like not even 20, it's like 26 years ago. So I'm like, oh my God, that was a long time ago. I'm like, so for real, like, mortality, like, oh my God. But Becky, definitely, to me, it was more tweener, and also playing up to, of course, the internet and critics and stuff like that. I'm not mad at it. I'm really just intrigued to see. I always say this, but just what's next? Just with her going this way, Lyra, are you guys gonna obviously continue? Are you gonna go elsewhere? Also, certain matchups that I'm eager to see. Becky, Io, Becky, Rhea again. Just certain matchups. I'm ready to see those. But also at the same time, interested to see what she's gonna do with her character as far as which side of the fence is she gonna ride.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always had this thing where the husband and wife both can't be opposite ends of the spectrum at the same time. You know what I mean?
Especially publicly.
And they was listening to you talk, bro. They was like, oh, we're gonna show his ass.
Yeah. But in terms of new matchups, I mean, she has unfinished business with Bayley because she attacked her and took her out of WrestleMania. She cheap attacked Lyra after their match, so she already has 2 people gunning for her. I don't know if she's going to try to get someone to align with her. I don't know who she could get. Like, again, I was trying to draw a blank of her potential Raw roster matchups that are fresh, because she feuded with Damage Control quite a bit. So EO's it's nothing new, but it's been a minute. And this EO is a little bit different from the original Damage Control EO. So maybe Becky would benefit from some SmackDown love as well. But she's fought everybody, So I guess we got to see what's going to happen. But I enjoyed the segment. I like Becky Lynch. I think she did good. I just need to see where this is going and who she's going to terrorize. But speaking of rap out, so did either one of you hear Macho Man's rap album?
No.
I heard like 2 tracks.
You heard Be a Man, Hogan?
Yep, of course. I think that was the main single.
That was a single. Be a man, Hogan. Don't be scared. I was like, yo.
I just hate that he didn't write it. I would have preferred if he would have wrote it.
I don't know what provoked him to do a hip hop album, but it was a full.
Probably everybody else was doing. He was like, man, shit, I could make a rap album too.
A full length album. Who did he work with? Who did Let Me Clear My Throat? DJ Kool?
DJ Kool.
So he had him on there.
And I heard
he was recommending.
He did some work with 50.
I didn't catch that, but who knows? Was this shit on Columbia?
Yeah, he did some work with 50. Yeah, I don't think it was on that project, but they did do some work though. They have footage.
Hey, listen, John.
Hey man, if Steve-O can do a rap album, anybody can do a rap album.
He said who?
Hey, I'm not. Hey,
He said who?
Steve-O from Jackass.
He did a rap album?
Yes.
Get your ass out of here, Jack Perry.
Exactly.
straight up.
Exactly.
That's when you cue that.
That shit sounds.
Yeah.
That just sounds like it would.
Cue that
would
for
be
that.
horrible.
It don't even sound a bit appealing. It's like, yo, like, for what?
I'm not even curious to inquire.
Me neither.
CM Punk and Sami Zayn are joining forces to go against Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. This pretty much screams pullover at the moment to me. Until they get themselves in a position to where they want to have the money feuds. And CM Punk has only really had 2 feuds since he's gotten back. Good feuds and very
Drew McIntyre.
Drew and Seth. Roman really wasn't a feud. It was just kind of it was a byproduct of just the overall.
You're in the way of what I'm trying to finish.
Yeah, and CM Punk has yet to really even go after a title yet, any title, which is cool. He's actually a great example of how to have heated wrestling feuds without titles being involved. You know what I'm saying? On some, Paul Orndorff, Roddy Piper, just like those type of guys who have that it factor to, they're gonna make sure that their feuds make sense. And I don't know when the Seth feud is going to end, but I assume they're going to keep each other busy until Seth sets his sights on Jay. I think the match they had last week was just a tease. Jay escaped by a hair. And CM Punk's going to have to get through Braun to get his hands on Seth again. But Sammy's been, hoodwinked and bamboozled by Seth. But also, Sami was also told, not told directly, but when CM Punk said, hey, Sami Zayn's not on my level, and he forgot about that. That was around the Royal Rumble, right?
Yeah.
But now they're teaming together. And who's to say that Sami might not pull a little switcheroo and turn on Punk too? If I was going to,
that's my guess.
If I was going to shuffle it up a little bit.
That's my guess. I think Sami's going to be the third person in the Paul Heyman alliance. It kind of makes sense. It's like, damn, Sami, Bloodline against Bloodline, and now him being a face again, and him going to the Paul Heyman alliance. But it's kind of like it kind of still makes sense for him to go to the Paul Heyman alliance, because it's like, damn, I can't beat these motherfuckers. I had a chance to go to SmackDown to get a chance to the world title, so it's like.
That really stirred the pot.
My ass whooped consecutively on Raw, or either like join these motherfuckers and get a chance at something on the tail end of my career.
Yeah, I don't know. Saturday night's main event, tag team match, sounds great for that type of show. But Madison Jay, what do you think about what we got going on between these two alliances?
I mean, we're students of the game. We've seen the play plenty of times. It's either going to be hey, this is going to be a good team match with some chicanery somewhere, or either it's going to be a double cross. With Sami portraying CM Punk, obviously. To me, if it were to go the latter, well, definitely don't mind. If it were to be an alliance of Sami, Seth, and Braun, I think it would be a dope group.
Yeah.
Mind you, I wouldn't be opposed to it just being a super solid tag team match. It gives me a Clash of Champions vibe of just seeing, top guys tag up. That was one thing I always loved about Clash of the Champions. You're going to see the big names in a 6-man or tag team match. And that's the vibes it kind of gives me. So, again, I wouldn't be opposed to that. Mind you, it makes sense in terms of Sami and Braun having smoke, CM Punk and Seth Rollins having smoke. So, of course, obviously the two sides. But I just find it interesting that, the seeds have been planted, obviously, for a double cross. And we're going to see Saturday if that cross happens.
Can you see Sami adjusting his character to fit in a heel stable with a Seth Rollins versus him just being a heel on his own?
Yeah, I can. Sami is a very good. One trait that he has is he is a very good. How can I say? A second. Why can I adapt? Supporting role.
Yes.
He is great at supporting role, whether it's him and Kevin Owens, whether it was him and the Bloodline. He just has that thing about him. He understands his role. He understands what's needed. As they say, he understands the assignment. And I think that's something that he would do as well. It would remind me of a better version of Buddy Matthews when Buddy Matthews was in the when he was rolling with Seth. Forgot the name of the group. That's crazy.
I don't think they had a name.
They didn't have a name, right? Yeah.
And it'd be a reason for him to go against Jay. Like, Jay, I've been your biggest supporter. Da, 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 da. I'm doing this for you. I want you to be better, Jay. Da, 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 da. It'd be a reason for him and Jay to feud.
I mean, if they want to get some heat, yeah, Sami double crossing Jay.
Be a good ass match.
Right, because mind you, Sami has already stated mind you, the jealousy as well. He won the world title. Mind you, I was the one, first against the Bloodline. So, and then I think they did run it was some, I can't remember. It was like a few weeks ago, obviously, but something in the lines of okay, a little bit of jealousy coming from Sami or potential of that jealousy. So could go that route as well. It's just hey, I've chose to link up with someone. I've chosen to link up with Paul under my own pretenses now to help me get to where, where he feels he may need to go or whatever. Just kind of throwing it out there because who knows what the reason might be. But yeah, just overall, I know it's going to be a dope matchup.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm a huge fan of a top tier tag team matchup and spreading things out this way. It's just too bad they can't do it for their own damn tag team division.
Right, crazy, right?
It's
fucking ridiculous.
Hey.
So yeah, we'll see what happens. I do smell shenanigans on the horizon, but we'll see in 2 weeks. So Io, Sky, and Rhea Ripley defeated my girl Roxanne Perez and Giulia in a very, very fun match. But if you look to the left, you see that Rhea Ripley got that lust in her eyes for Io's belt, and I assume they're going to have to run that back at some point.
Run it back. Yeah.
When and where? I just think that Roxanne and Giulia got a little shine, a little rub, showcased their skills in a match, but it was really just a pullover for what the real feud is going to be, and that's Rhea versus Io for their rematch or whatever. I got part 3, I guess, in this case.
Yeah,
part
I think
3.
so.
Yeah.
But this one would be out of respect. Actually, they've all been. The last 2 have been out of respect, kind of. Would you say? Yeah, it wasn't a definitive. These are all babyface versus babyface matches. I don't see Rhea's too hot to be turning heel anytime soon.
Yeah.
And Io's too lovable at this point, so not really much to say. Yeah, exactly. That's just over like hell. So,
yeah.
So it's not much really to say about this particular segment. Just kind of wanted to highlight that I think that's the direction that they're going. But good showing from Roxanne Perez and Giulia.
Absolutely. And I hate people mind you, know Giulia's background, where she comes from. Bro, certain people, they have to get acclimated to certain systems. And I think for Giulia, getting acclimated to the American system, mind you, with her being over in Japan for so long, just being international for so long, having to get, again, acclimated. Mind you, English, learning the language, learning the difference in the American wrestling style, in particular the WWE wrestling style. But it was a great showing. She's over performed in a lot of areas, just even in NXT. And of course, in the main roster, mind you, like you said, Roxy is getting that rub, you know, and that's something that's very important. And I think people negate is like, bro, you can still look good in a loss. It's wrestling. You know what I mean? This is not, you know, it might be real to some, damn it, but at the end of the day, you know, the reality of what we absorb with this pro wrestling thing is like, yo, it's a matter of the entertainment value always. That's just kind of what it boils down to. So just again with those two, this was a great showing, obviously against two greats, current greats with Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, two former world champions. So the fact that they showed that they're on that level, when it's time for them to transition to the main roster, easily can be done. And I think that's something that could happen soon because, you know, mind you, they're in NXT still. They're kind of teetering. But I'm excited to see, in particular, Giulia, because she's very exciting. Roxy, the young prodigy, she's like the female young OG because she's been wrestling. She was a teeny bopper. So just to see her progression that she's made, just the same thing you were saying about Dominic, same thing you can say about Roxy. Like, man, in the next 15 years for her, she's going to be solidified as one of the greatest to do it, barring injury or anything crazy.
Right.
She's just
WrestleMania title shots are in her future.
Absolutely.
Or title defenses. Giulia, her fucking entrance attire was fire. She looked dope as hell coming out with that.
Man, what?
That
it's
mask.
crazy
This shit was fire. Yeah.
It was. I looked at it, I was like, this feels like a WrestleMania attire, but it's just something that you're just wearing on Raw casually. I was like, yeah, she's different.
Yes.
She was excited.
Yeah.
She was really excited, man. Like she knew it was gonna be eyes on her. Like Monday Night Raw is like a big ass show now, bro.
Yeah.
Right.
And
let me come correct.
Yeah.
Gotta stand out.
Yeah. Let me make myself look like a superstar.
You gotta stand out.
And that's what she did. And all four of these women, former NXT champions. The NXT system is 75-80% of the roster. Of the WrestleMania main events in the last few years. Like that system works. All right, so that was everything for Raw. Now a couple moments. Let's talk about our memories of the legend, the homicidal, suicidal, genocidal Sabu. I was very sad to hear about his passing at the young age of 60. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the way that WWE honored him, and they included that in their programming. And I'm sure that Tony Khan, who's a huge AEW fan, is going to have something for him on Dynamite tomorrow. But you know, we've all seen Sabu. But tell me about your memories and your thoughts on Sabu and his legacy. We'll start with Gold.
First time I seen Sabu, of course, was on ECW. ECW already was just like, yo, this shit was like just crazy. I'm like, man, like wrestling was already cool to me, but to see the way these guys like just did crazy shit, and for Sabu, man, like Sabu would like, you know, like his balance, like, you know, bouncing on the ropes and then jumping to like somebody going through two tables and doing backflips and shit, man. Sabu was just fucking amazing to me, bro. And I was a fan right out top, and the thing that stood out for me was Sabu, like whenever he came out like the fight, like his music played the whole time. That shit was super cool to me too. Like,
that was New Jack.
But Sabu did his music played the whole time too, though, right?
No.
Not really.
Not really. He would come out. Sabu was known for the lights going out, and he just ended up in the ring. But for the most part, his music turned off. It was only New Jack who had that legacy of natural born killers playing for however long that match was.
The whole match, bro. But Sabu, man, just his him being like just being a guy that pushed the limits, man, and trying anything and just to put on a great show, man. Like much respect to his legacy. And putting his body on the line to entertain us, man, as wrestling fans. And always fan since I first seen him, bro. Like, rest in peace, Sabu, man. Appreciate you.
Absolutely, R.I.P. Madison, what are your thoughts and memories of the great Sabu?
Well, definitely rest in peace to Terry Brunk, aka known as Sabu. Condolences to his family, friends, those that loved him, those that showered him, love, those who, elevated his praises, elevated his name. First off, before I get into the legacy, I have to speak on the fact of that, Sabu, who's around my mom and dad's age, passing away there. I look at, us, and, there people speak on midlife crisis and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. I'm only like almost a decade younger, not that, but a decade and a little bit some over younger than Sabu. And I'm just like, whoa, that's more than half my life if I were to pass at that same age. And I'm just like, wow, wow. When you put things like that in perspective, the life that we live, we got to live life, man. We've got to live life because you never know. And mind you, what factors causing his passing, but just the fact of that it ended. And mind you, he just had his retirement match with Joey Janela. I think it was maybe last year, 2023.
It was at WrestleMania weekend. This past WrestleMania weekend.
This past one, okay, 2025.
Yeah.
GCW and Joey having his last match is crazy. Like, you die. And that to me, it just again put in perspective of like life. Like, again, I instantly thought of a midlife crisis, and people like try to throw it off in 50, like, oh, midlife or late 40s, 30s. When you realistically look at lifespans, 30s, that's a midlife, and being in my late 30s now, it's like, wow, got to live life. And Sabu, for the stories and even how he's conveyed in shoots and interviews and things of that nature, he lived life. We saw in the ring that he lived life, sacrificing my body for the entertainment of people, for the fact of to live life. Yeah. I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z truck to live life. I'm gonna have these style of matches, living life to the fullest. I'm not just gonna entertain people. I'm gonna entertain them to the highest degree that I possibly can. Just from the first time I saw him, which was probably like 96, 97, just instantly intrigued because I thought everything that he did was real.
Yeah, same here.
And that conveyed on to ECW, like, oh, okay, WCW, WWF, they're cool. This ECW shit, this shit's got to be real. They're really putting themselves through torture and pain for wrestling. Like, okay, on my debut mixtape, Raps Like Wrestling, I have a track called Shit Gets Real Like Sabu. And it was just basically conveying like how things can flip to like, oh yeah, it's cool, and the wrestling aspect, but nah, once the line gets crossed, it gets real like Sabu. You might see some barbed wire, you might see a steel chair, you might see some metal. But that's what something that Sabu just always represent for me, and always did represent, was just how can I say? I was gonna say extreme poeticness, or just violent poetry in motion. What he did was just, it was beautiful. Triple Arabian moonsault, Arabian face buster, just, and just incorporating those things into his moveset, just to have the title of the moves. He was just a character that was incredible and touched a lot of people, touched a lot of wrestlers in terms of inspiring them and even having them in awe. And I think that's just, yeah, right. And I think, unfortunately, we see in death, some people get their flowers. Sabu, I think, was somebody who definitely got them while he was living, but obviously they're going to come by the hordes when you pass and transition over. And
oh yeah,
just seeing how people speak about him and have spoken about him, that right there just lets you know about the type of person he was. Again, saying it for the third time tonight. Of course, there's going to be some people that have negative things to say, but for the most part, everything's been positive, everything's been love, just in terms of how he was able to inspire these people, man. So in closing, I just want to say thank you, Sabu, for your contributions to this world, to this culture of wrestling. We appreciate you, man, because like you really laid it on the line. And I just keep doing what you're doing up there upstairs, man. And at the end of the day, your legacy definitely will live on through many, 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 many people.
Well said. Well said. I don't think I could have said it any better. I share the same sentiment of both of you gentlemen. He was a groundbreaking, trend-setting, forward-thinking, risk-taking leader of the new school. People go through tables because of Sabu going through tables. And whether that table broke on the first try, or if it didn't break on the first try, he's going to jump.
Try again.
He's going to try again. His body.
I think Jeff Hardy was inspired by Sabu, man.
A lot of people are inspired by Sabu.
Bret Hart said, well, I won't say he said, but supposedly Bret Hart was inspired for his table spot with him and Diesel. I think the '95 Rumble. The infamous table spot, because I think it was like the first time WWF had a table spot. I think the inspiration behind that was Sabu. And mind you, Bret, my favorite wrestler of all time, that right there spoke, volumes. Sabu is somebody, he's not somebody that is crazy. Like, I instantly go to as like in my top, but just like when you go and you really do the breakdown, and just for me in terms of characters that touch me,
yes,
like, dude, he is one of those characters that it just literally I'll never forget. Any decade, any whatever, like,
bro,
dude, Sabu is
Sabu, Ultimo Dragon,
yes,
like Cactus Jack, like folks like that, bro, like
Yeah, people who are just so unique and could not be. No one could replicate Sabu, the way he walked, the way he did. He never talked. The man was always silent. Bill Alfonso did the talking. The only talking he did was this, pointing to the sky. His father, his uncle was the Sheik, another violent character. I first saw Sabu on Monday Nitro. He was on Nitro for a cup of coffee, and I can't remember if he's the first person I saw put someone through a table, or if it was Public Enemy who I saw put someone through a table. But it was one of those two, and both of them are associated with ECW. And then when I finally got to see ECW, because it didn't come on in North Carolina, it didn't come on Cablevision. You had to have, you had to have a satellite to see it, or stay up until 3 or 4 in the morning. But when and they promoted the Barely Legal, their first pay-per-view, Barely Legal. They promoted it on Raw, so they had Sabu come through, and Tommy Dreamer come through, and Taz come through, and even Raven come through on an episode of Monday Night Raw. The Eliminators, Perry Saturn, and I forgot my other boy's name. Cronus, yeah. And and I was like, man, I really want to see the Blue World Order. I wanted to see this group of ECW folks that I could only hear about, through reading the magazine, the wrestling magazines at Food Lion. While my mom was shopping, I'm over here reading the magazines, and I'm seeing them in the print. And it's like, how can I see this stuff? And then finally, Cablevision had November to Remember '97, and I finally got to see my first full ECW show, and I was hooked. And when they finally, so every other pay-per-view they had, I ordered it, and then they finally got on national TV on TNN. I watched every episode of that, and I was just in love. I associate ECW with Tommy Dreamer, Sabu, Taz, Rob Van Dam, the Dudleys, Sandman. That's ECW to me. Then all the other characters, then everyone else that came from there: Lance Storm, Just Incredible, Super Crazy, Tajiri. I'm forgetting something. Jerry Lynn.
Shane Douglas.
Blue Meanie.
New Jack. Blue Meanie. Stevie Richards. Raven.
Mike Awesome.
One of my favorites ever.
Underrated.
Rest in peace, Mike Awesome. Spike Dudley. Balls Mahoney, Axel Rotten. The list goes on
Little
and on.
Guido.
Little Guido, the FBI, fucking Tracy.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
Tracy Smothers. Fucking
C.W. Anderson.
C.W. Anderson with that 6 spine
Oh,
buster.
okay.
911.
911, Brian Lee.
Fucking, I'm just trying to think of everybody who was on that show. Bam Bam Bigelow, he was there. But I don't consider him an ECW talent, but he was there.
Chris Candido.
Chris Candido.
Nova.
Nova.
Chris Chetty.
Chris Chetty. Roadkill.
Danny Doring.
Goldkill.
Danny Doring. Roadkill and Danny Doring were a tag team, and then they were
I enjoyed a lot of their work. They reminded me of the Hart Foundation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because Roadkill, all he could say was chickens. That's the only thing he would ever say was chickens.
Rey Mysterio for a little bit.
He was there.
Yeah.
I have an ECW DVD when they had like a great match with like when Chris Jericho was there. Dean Malenko was there. Chris Benoit was there. Of course, Perry Saturn, he was in the Eliminators. The Pit Bulls.
Don't forget about the Pit Bulls.
Bro, ECW was something else, man. But
It really was.
Yeah.
But ultimately, Sabu will be one of the first people I think of.
Yes. Yep.
When we bring up the legacy of that promotion. It makes me want to go back and just watch
Rob Van Dam.
their old stuff and even their documentaries, which were all good. But yeah, Sabu's totally gonna be missed. I hate. You can tell how much he loved the business because he wore it on his body with all the scars, all the cuts. The barbed wire match he had with Terry Funk when they were like stuck in the barbed wire, and his biceps torn to fucking shreds, and he fucking taped it up, and just all the crazy. He had no fear. Zero Miro is Sabu. Sabu, and he's going to be
Sure.
greatly missed. Rest and power. And don't take life for granted because you never know.
Speaking of giving flowers, I just want to shout out my man Madison Jay for his project, Raps Like Wrestling 3.
Yeah, actually, let's talk about that in the Go Home segment. Here we go. This is where there's Falls Count Anywhere. This is the Go Home segment. We can talk about anything that we want. And I want to learn more about Rap is Like Wrestling 3. Where can people check out this project, Madison J?
Let's see. Raps Like Wrestling 3 is available on Bandcamp and YouTube streaming, or on my YouTube channel. But yeah, Bandcamp being the main hub of where you can find that and purchase it. Or if you want, still open to stream it. But in particular, I wanted to be exclusive to those, just, being more artist to consumer, direct from the source. The streaming is just crazy. And the more I think about it, is just, not to say that my music won't serve on streaming, the major streaming platforms, but I'm just all about, keeping it indie based.
Absolutely. I'm at your channel right now. Do you have it in a playlist? There it is.
I do. Yep, right, I do have it in the playlist.
All right, cool. I'm going to link this in the description of this video.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you as well, S. Dot.
Look, I appreciate you too, man. Just want to say, definitely been a fan of not only just you as a person, man, but you as an artist. This jam is definitely for like not just hip hop fans, but for wrestling fans too alike. And my favorite song is on the Razor Ramon jam, bro. And it's a mix between that one and the Sexual Chocolate jam, bro. Like I was like, it's like you really you tapped into like the vibe of those theme songs, bro. And you did it justice, bro. Artist to artist, I really, really like what you did with this, man. Like I said, even if you're not like a wrestling fan, like if you're just a fan of like a vibe, you know what I'm saying? And he kind of like he tapped into like you just not understanding it as a wrestling fan, but you just being a fan of music.
Right.
You did that, bro. So definitely big shout out to you and
I greatly appreciate you.
Yes.
And, in case you didn't know, S. Dot is featured on I have a track. It's the Royal Rumble All Stars. He's featured up there, and he gave me some heat. Which I already knew. It's like the people who I have on that track, because I reached out to several different artists, and I was trying to keep it mum in terms of how I was gonna, put it together. Because I think some people are under the impression of, it's gonna be me and Madison track. And I was like, yeah, okay. But then also it's like, okay, for those who were in tune, it's a track about Royal Rumble, it's 8 bars. This nigga might have some other people up there. So it was just, everybody came with their sword sharp. And what I loved from everybody was just staying on subject. Wrestling bars. And that's how much of an impact that I already knew that wrestling had on just all of us. Whatever walk of life you walked, wrestling has touched that in some capacity. So just the fact of just to have, a lot of my compadres just coming in and entering in that pocket, but it not being something that's too radical for them. Yeah, motherfuckers smoked it, man. And it's really that track. I said it. It's one of the greatest hip hop collaborations. It's just the fact of me being an independent artist. It kind of is going to take time, but that's one of the greatest hip hop collaborations of all time because energy of the track and everybody smoked it. It's not, that right there, I think just spoke volumes that everybody just came with what high level shit. And that's why I really appreciate them for that.
Sure, but that lets you know at the same time, man, like what kind of love you got around here, bro.
No, absolutely. And it just definitely it spoke volumes to me, and it's just something that I don't play around with just because when I reached out to these people, they were receptive. Some people didn't kick it out in time. Nothing to just take personal. Stuff happens outside of music, personal. Some motherfuckers might didn't fuck with the beat, just different factors, man. And I'm not going into like, it is what it is. But for the people who did hop on that, my God, God.
Listen, I was excited about that shit, bro. That's why I was like I knew he was working. So I was like, maybe he changed his mind. So I was like, let me reach out to him again.
Right.
He's like, I thought I sent it. I was like, yeah, he was just busy. So, because I was excited about that shit, man. Because for one, like I respect you, like not as a human being, but as a, fellow hip hop compadre and a fan of wrestling. So I was like, I definitely, got to come correct, man. So I took that shit very seriously. So as soon as you sent me that beat, I was just like on it right then, bro.
Essentially, this is who I do it for. They're just ultimately with Raps Like Wrestling, that whole series. And also just this past weekend, I was at a UPW event up in New Bern, North Carolina, United Pro Wrestling, new organization that's up and running. Shout out to Danny Ocean.
That's fire.
Shout out to everybody at UPW, the whole staff. It was great. Cedric Alexander, he headlined. So I got to chop it up with Cedric, man. And
damn, that's fire, bro.
It was very dope. Very gracious, very humble individual. It just felt good to, meet someone of his ilk, and he didn't disappoint. The talent there also did not disappoint. So that was just really dope. But the fact of just seeing this of hip hop and wrestling coming together, because they've already rubbed elbows in capacity. These two things are literally running on the same type of fuel. It's just to different locations. Yeah. So I've always just said, man, they're just too similar to not try to bring the worlds together. So just within that time, seeing guys like Wale, Westside Gun, Smoke DZA, seeing what they're doing, even to DNA, the Saga, seeing what they're doing over in battle rap, man, like that right there puts a smile on my face, because all it does.
He was doing it a while ago. He was already doing it.
And the ego side says that, but then also on the other side, it's just like, bro, at the end of the day, if it wasn't me, some like the individuals who, have brought it to that forefront, they did exactly what was needed, and they did it in a way, literally, bro, because like again, that's not even just going with the 30 days of wrestling shirts. It's just showing like, yo, we don't get it messed up in terms of wrestling fans aren't nerds. You know what I mean? Like, yo, we're cool.
Yes, exactly.
We get fly, we get jig, but it's just to show that side of you're a fool, bro. You're a fool. But it was just to show, man, like these two worlds can come together and it can be a beautiful collaboration. So just on the music end, there we go. Just on the music end of just trying to bring that to the forefront and bring it together and not only create, but to have people embrace it over these years. That's something right there that I'm like, I can go to sleep at night if I just stop rapping and be like, yo, I'm good. I mean, I'm cool. Because that right there, it speaks on impact. And then the fact of the first one is 2009. The last one, obviously, this one right here being 3 in 2025, that speaks on longevity.
Yes, sir.
That's just something, you know, I'm very proud of. I mean, I think the motif, though, has been killed. But it's just, it's to reiterate, just in case if y'all didn't know, man, like, this is not that, you know, this isn't the 80s, 90 crop of wrestling fan. This is a whole new, mind you see how the culture has seeped into wrestling. We got wrestlers actually with serious heavy footwear drip that I'm like, bro, you're wrestling in this?
I was talking to my homegirl, man. Shout out to her, you know, but I was telling her like how wrestling became like a different, like it's so culturally influenced now, you know, like. Right. Motherfuckers are wearing Jordans. Motherfuckers are wearing Balenciaga runners to the ring and shit.
Come on now.
It's different. It's just different, man. It lets you know, like, motherfuckers are tapped in now.
Absolutely.
Like, yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Sure.
That Raps Like Wrestling 2, I gotta say that cover art right there, the one in the middle, that one to me, and this is obviously Raps Like Wrestling 3 out now. Make sure you go support that, purchase, stream.
Definitely.
That second one, the cover art, shout out to Head Graphics, he designed that. That is the culmination of Raps Like Wrestling because, mind you, we all know the inspiration behind that cover, you know? That's Midnight Marauders, Tribe Called Quest. Mm-hmm. What Graphics did was, mind you, how you had the different artists with the headphones. He has different wrestlers with the headphones, like, and to me, that right there is like, that's art. That's it's just, again, the world's coming together because it's literally the same thing. It's just flipped, you know. It's literally, again, you have these different wrestlers who, in all actuality, are supportive of each other, are friends. Same way that you had these different artists come out and support a Tribe Called Quest with this momentous, project, Midnight Marauders at the time. Like it just that's something that I'd have framed just as this is a reflection of that, you know, that art. Obviously the first one, Raps Like Wrestling, the OG, Drake Cannon's got that one. That was kind of just set the tone. But then the third one stands out. Mel Major, he designed that. Stands out just for that. I always loved the In Your House font.
Yeah, as soon as I seen it, I was like, damn, that's In Your House.
Always loved that font. The OG format of the pay-per-view, I always thought it was dope. You know what I mean? Mind you, it's a cheaper pay-per-view. It's a more affordable. They used to run the contest with giving away a house. Mm-hmm. It just, you know, it represented something that was like very fun, almost to a degree innocent, because like that was like around the last years of my childhood before In Your House transitioned over to a secondary pay-per-view. But long story short, it's the nostalgia. All of these represent that nostalgia of wrestling and bringing it to a more recent, updated format of now. And that's something that with that series, Raps Like Wrestling 1 through 3, that's something that I wanted to do, is just bring everything to the forefront, knowing like, okay, rap, wrestling, I'm bringing it together and I'm making it cool and I'm making it presentable and I'm giving it to you, the people. I just uploaded for the first time ever. The second one, Raps Like Wrestling 2, is actually available for streaming on all platforms. And that's for the first time ever. available on all platforms. So you can hear a lot of nostalgia, a lot of people who are in a larger space in their careers. Shout out to 3 a.m., So Free Wisdom, Woozy. They're featured on that project. You know what I mean? And it's just incredible to see.
All fire artists too. I co-sign all of them fire, bro.
Sir, you know our circle. You know what I mean? You know our art circle is just an incredible bevy of talent. But for them to tap in that long ago into that arena with me, that speaks volumes. So, but yeah, man, I appreciate all the support on the music front. You know, we gonna keep this thing going. I told you I'm releasing a project every month in 2025. So I've already got, loading up the next one.
Yeah.
Hey man, definitely looking forward to it. You know what I'm on, man, every Friday, bro.
Absolutely.
Hey, and I told you that's something that it can't be negated, because I mean you could just be like, yeah, I'm gonna drop, some joints a month, or I just put out one. All right. To have that level of consistency and dedication to doing it, and being prompt too. You're prompt with it. Hey, Fridays, hey, drop.
Week 29, bro.
Come on, like you gotta speak on that. You gotta let it be known. And like I said, just to have it all in one space, that's incredible. You got, like, to me, man, this is nothing to play with. That pen, that mind, and putting these things from the mind down and onto audio form, bro, this shit is incredible. It's almost like magic.
It is, man. It's definitely I think maturity makes you appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Because like I used to just, like, we were having fun with it. When we were younger, we was kids, like, oh shit, I can rap, I can put words together, I can tell stories. But when you go back and you like, yo, I actually have something to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, like this shit made me feel some type of way.
Right.
Somebody, I can't tell you how many like DMs I've gotten. It was like, yo, like I can relate to this. Or man, like, yo, like I listened to this project of yours and it helped me get through a dark time. That's what means the most to me, so that's why I do it. I'm having fun, man. I don't gotta be famous. I'm having fun, bro. I'm having fun. I'm putting out dope shit. If you like it, cool. If you don't, that's cool too. It's just artistry.
I think that's especially as we go up, just in terms of our elder statesmanship. I think that's a space that we're just getting comfortable with, and I think a lot of artists that are coming up under us, I think that's something they need to understand. Like, of course, who doesn't want to, everybody doesn't want to be famous, but who would want to be famous? But that's not the end all be all measuring stick, unless that's what your measuring stick is, and you can measure it on that. But just in terms of how you should measure success for yourself, it's just that, it would be love, but that's not the full meal. That's not the full meal.
Are you happy? You gotta ask yourself that question. Are you happy?
Are you doing what you love?
Yes.
Are you doing what you love? Whether it's I love getting money or I love to create or whatever, are you doing what you love? And if you're not, that's where it's like,
Absolutely.
And VS, man, I appreciate you too, bro. Like, I really have fun doing this with you, bro. We all love this shit. I look forward every Tuesday, like linking up with you and talking about some fucking wrestling shit, because I fucking love wrestling. I don't give a fuck how people feel about it. I love this shit. I think it's good. It's been better than it's been in a long time. Like, shout out to Paul the Best, doing what he do, and hopefully he listens to our podcast and add some critique to it. You know what I'm saying? Like our suggestions, make it a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he want to hire us, bring us on, and we can help write.
Man, in any capacity. But seriously though, shout outs to you, man, for just having the platform. Having the platform and just being able to give it. Hey, yeah, join. That speaks volumes in terms of your character, also just as well as your mind in terms of where you see the product going. Because at the end of the day, we love this shit.
Yeah, man.
Mind you.
Thank you, BS.
not like swimming in Scrooge McDuck ducats. You know what I mean? We just literally, what time? Oh, East Coast, 12:52.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about wrestling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just something that's it's in us.
Yeah.
You know, not on us.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
I truly do enjoy the time, and it's crazy. Sometimes I be like, "Wow, this is how long we were talking," but that's how it is. You know, it just flows like that.
Yeah, we got a solid almost 4 hours in today, and it doesn't even feel like it. So I'm swatting away a little net, but yeah.
Dang, that's crazy. It must be from over here. he has been. I'm talking about. He's been having me aggy, and I'm like, man.
Right now you're checking out VSOP.
Hip hop and wrestling.